Start recording. Holy crap. My lord. Did I have to go after that? Let me tell you what. Now I'm still way behind here. Hello and happy Monday to you, Angela.
Happy Monday to you.
You.
Does anybody say that? Does anybody say it's a happy Monday?
Happy Monday? Well, I do when I see you.
They're like, hey, what's up? How's your weekend? They don't say happy Monday.
It's a happy Monday because I get to
They commiserate
with
on the
these
loss of the
folks
weekend.
who will join us today. So it's a happy Monday for me.
I'm so glad.
I'm sorry it's not a happy Monday for you, I guess.
Oh, it's just a Monday, that's all.
You got the Mondays?
No. Sometimes I get a case of the Mondays. But.
Sometimes. We're just running a couple minutes late here on TikTok. What's up, Delicate? So glad you're here. Thank you for coming. Awesome. Okay, let me just go.
Delicate wrote H-O, and I don't know how to read that. I'm assuming it's like...
It was supposed to say hi. She's calling you a hoe.
Obviously.
Can you... how's the audio, Delicate, when you get a chance? Just
Dale has been toiling over the audio.
Yeah,
and he's not sure.
I'm definitely having a kind of a weird technical problem that doesn't allow me to monitor without actually creating... I don't know, there's like some kind of doubling up on a driver somewhere and I can't find where it is. And okay, what am I writing here for the title for today's show here?
Are you on TikTok?
Malcolm... Jamal.
Sad about him. That's pretty sad.
It's the saddest, actually. It's so sad when we go young, you know? Breaks my heart. Audio is perfect. Well, hopefully it'll stay that way.
Mm-hmm. You're good at this, babe.
I can't monitor. Yeah, so that's the only problem is I can't monitor it. But I'm so fucking glad to be here. And I'm so glad that you're here with us. And I hope a bunch of others will join us so we can have even more fun. We do have some lively business to talk about.
Oh yeah, so much. I'm trying to find your video on TikTok though, and it's not appearing.
Yeah, I haven't gone live yet.
Oh, okay. That would explain it. We should start doing this like 5 minutes early.
Well,
because here it is. It's 7:04. It takes about 5 minutes for you to get going.
I screwed up, but yes, we should. I should be. You know, there's just so much to be prepared for, and I'm going live now. What I need to do is I need to be able to actually double wackadoo this stuff, but you know, meaning like I there's an app where I can like I can do this thing, which is like basically doing another broadcast within OBS, but it's like a mobile broadcast.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah,
make it easier.
but I have a couple of hardware issues I'm trying to get through to get.
Oh, there you are. Sweet.
Hey man, thanks for joining. Angela joined us on TikTok. Hello,
I like
Angela.
your shirt. What's the story with your shirt?
This is one of my favorite Canadian bands. Well, when I say one of my favorite Canadian bands, in the 90s, they had about 3 records that were just like in my veins.
They were like constantly playing.
Yeah, they were
in your life.
They were called the Tragically Hip.
They were. They're not anymore.
Right, because the lead singer, who is Gord.
Gord.
Gord Downey.
Oh, I was like, he was gored. What, by like a bull?
He was gored by cancer in the brain.
His name's sad. Gordon. He shortened it to Gord.
Yeah, he goes by Gord.
That's really adorable. That seems like the most eccentric thing a person can do.
Is go by Gord?
Is be like named Gordon, but go by Gord.
That's pretty funny. Yeah, what's up, Tanner? What's going on?
Sweet.
By the way, Tanner, I think you asked about the people having the things by their names, and I don't know what that is or where it comes from. The crowns.
Oh,
yeah, he asked about it like the other day, and I meant to answer him, and I forgot to. Because we were getting all wrapped up in,
on YouTube.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I think what's going to happen is that Dale has to reach. Is it so many like hours watched or so many subscribers? Which one is it?
It's a combination of those two things.
Oh, okay. So you have to reach like this, like a new what's it called? Like a new level.
Thresholds. Yeah.
Yes. And then we can start subscriber things, right? Like we could start a subscription. You could be members.
Right, so we can like give away subscriptions and
yeah,
stuff.
you could be like members of Dale's channel, and then we'll just give those away to the people that are here with us most often, and then they'll get, then we can assign like little icons. Sorry I did such a terrible job of explaining any of that. I just learned about it today, so maybe that's why.
No, you're good.
But
Tanner,
that would be really great if we could give everybody little tiny pineapples for
yeah,
being
we'll figure it out.
an
We're
early
gonna
member.
that part's gonna get figured out eventually. But for now, at least, we know that well, anyway, for now, it's just that's sort of the story. Sorry, I'm just fudging with some things. Tanner had a great weekend. Tanner got to go to an AOC rally, like a town hall, and he texted me. He told me that there was it's weird talking while you're here, but he told me that there was like 800 people outside, and it was just pouring rain, and he waited for hours to get in, and when he finally got in, when it was over, AOC went and did a rally for the people who had waited outside, who stayed out there for like hundreds of people.
That's nice.
Man, that's so cool.
That's always the thing you hear about, like the late great politicians, that they always like stuck around after the event and like shook everybody's hand and like thanked the wait staff and all of everything.
Yeah.
Like they really spent time with all of the other, the workers.
Exactly.
So I just feel like it's so weird when they don't do that. Like, it's such an easy way to make a good impression. That's nice that she did.
It totally is. And I bet you it was awesome. She's got a lot on her plate as a politician, to say the least. There's a lot.
I don't really know anything about her. She's like, she represents New Yorkers, and I've never even had proximity to that.
You hate New Yorkers.
Well, I have nothing to do with New York. Like, I think I've been once, and like it didn't, like,
whatever.
I'm not connected.
Yeah, she's also. I've certainly only been exposed to her in the same way that you have, which is through national media or whatever. And she is a badass. She's kind of like the Bernie successor, as I see her. She's obviously got her own set of values and morals and beliefs and all this other stuff and political ideals. And she's also working for obviously a completely different contingency. But she's a representative of America right now. I mean, all Congress is. And while her interests lie in New York, her purpose is for all Americans. And so she's cool that way.
I'm really glad that people are pumped to go to rallies because, regardless of whether people think anymore that engaging in the American politics makes any difference.
Bobo is here. What's up, Bobo?
Understandably so jaded. It's really nice to see that people aren't like totally apathetic yet. Because it's like everything that's going on is like really designed to grind everyone So it's nice when everybody can get together and like, commune
and have like-minded, conversations and feel supported. Yeah. Hello, Leo Edits. So good to see you as always. We're always thrilled to see you. So thank you for coming. Whoever else is on, I think it's just you and, well, Angela, actually. Hello, Angela. Welcome to the show.
Leo Edit said, OMG, I love your shirt.
Do you know what it is? Do you know that it's the Tragically Hip? This is the hat. I'm gonna like reveal some of my belly for you guys on.
I think you have to move your mic in order to show.
Let me just do this.
Just scoot over.
This is his hat.
Yeah, this is perfect.
That's his hat. All right. That's Gord's hat. Gord Downey, from the Tragically Hip. I love him. He is deceased. Brain cancer came and took him. When he was about my age, I guess. This was several years ago now, and my heart cries for him still to this day. He was such a big part of my youth. My early 20s. There was a part of him that his voice and his vocal and the way in which he wrote and sang about Canada that like was what I moved to America with. He was all my Canadian. Gord.
That's very sweet.
And the rest of the guys that, Tragically Hip had one of the best guitarists in the 90s, in my opinion, in terms of just, melody writing. I think he reminds me a little bit of, especially his earlier stuff, reminds me a little bit about the dude, like the dude from Blind Melon.
Shannon Hoon?
No, the guitarist.
Oh, yeah.
Just riff.
That guitarist is so great.
Yeah, he's so good. And just ripping and ripping and ripping. I can't believe, there are these times when a celebrity dies, and it hits me in ways that are unexpected, and I am feeling this way about Malcolm Jamal-Warner. His death is hitting me really oddly, and I would call it
Do you suppose there's someone
badly.
in the do you suppose there's someone with us that hasn't heard the news yet?
Malcolm Jamal Warner drowned in Costa Rica while he was on vacation, I presume, and he was swimming, and an undercurrent came, or an undertow came and dragged him into the water, and his body was found yesterday. And yeah, his passing has just really deeply affected me. And if you don't know who he is, he was best known for his role on The Cosby Show. I was, as I was preparing for today, I saw many headlines. One of them was somebody quoting a response from Bill Cosby, and I got a little agitated. Just because, you could just fucking not ask him. Do you know what I mean? Like, we could choose to take a total piece of shit like that and ignore him.
And be like, you don't get to memorialize decent people.
I don't think
anymore.
I'm venturing to guess that Malcolm Jamal Warner doesn't want to be memorialized by him.
Yeah.
Like, that's what I'm guessing. I'm guessing, why run out to him? Why go get a quote from him? Even if you're picking it up, I don't care who the fuck went and got it. Why go to that piece of shit when this guy was a decent fucking human being, protected his wife and family from,
the media.
The media.
Mm-hmm.
I went to go look up his birthday. He keeps it from us. He's done all these things really successfully.
No, his
savvy.
chart is on Astro Theme.
Well, okay, I take that part back.
I have his chart. Did you want to know about today or yesterday?
Yeah, let's have a look at the astrology then.
Sometimes I believe that a person's
How
death,
reliable is his birth time?
It seems reliable. I think I didn't actually look in Astro Theme because whether they have the grading on reliability of a birth
that's what I
time,
was asking.
and I didn't look because it's because his birth time is 2:43 a.m. So it sounds reasonable. Okay, listen.
By the way, Tanner's saying something really exciting as we interrupt the Malcolm Jamal Warner news, and that is that there were a lot of people his age there. And that's probably the most exciting
At the
thing.
AOC rally?
Yeah.
That's great.
And if people don't know, Tanner is 77 years old.
No, he's not.
He's not?
Because that would also be exciting.
You're right.
If there was a bunch of boomers at an AOC rally.
The place was just packed with boomers screaming
Really wealthy
AOC, AOC, AOC.
Okay, so do you want to continue that topic, or do you want to move on?
I do. I was very sad. I am very sad by his passing.
Okay, but do you want to talk about his astrology?
And I would be very curious to know more about his astrology.
So I looked up. I set it as noon because I didn't know what time he got into his accident. But July 20th at noon, Limon, Costa Rica is apparently where he was.
Okay.
And there is
that Lime?
Limon.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Is it? Mm-hmm. It's Lime, Costa Rica, basically?
I don't know if it's lime or lemon. I always get that confused in Spanish.
That's what it's. But it's one or the other. It's a citrus fruit.
I feel like even if you screw it up, you can still order and you're gonna be fine. It's
right,
either gonna be lemon or
unless
lime.
it's like a Corona, because I don't want lemon in my Corona.
Oh, I think it's Lima versus Limon.
Limon.
Okay, listen.
It's both lemon and lime, says Erica.
Oh, see?
Hi, Erica.
I don't see anything in his chart that indicates that he got into a terrible accident other than the thing that is happening to all of us, which is Mars is right now conjoining the South Node, which is very problematic.
Anything happening inauspiciously in any of the water signs?
No. In fact, no. Also, Mercury is retrograde, so traveling is not recommended when Mercury is in retrograde. But he had this accident, and here's my theory about death and the astrology chart.
Okay.
The theory of the ancients believed that the astrology chart is the chart of your soul. So if you think about it in that concept, in that term, in those terms, the astrology chart isn't going to mark a death because the soul continues. So astrology, typically, we usually see the passing of a person in the charts of their closest loved ones because that is very impactful for the people who are left behind.
Interesting.
And so on his chart, he actually has Jupiter transiting his first house, which is very protective. And he also has his moon.
Crazy, dude.
I know.
I was all looking forward to Jupiter, but now I'm like, maybe not Jupiter.
Yeah. Well, so it's weird. So Jupiter is applying to his ascendant, and then the transiting ascendant at noon in Costa Rica that day the transiting ascendant is conjoining his Jupiter, so he's got double ascendant Jupiter conjunctions. I
Well,
don't.
that time isn't so reliable.
But that
for
means that the Jupiter is trining his natal Jupiter. That Jupiter, the transit Jupiter is also trining his natal moon. There is literally nothing in this chart that shows that he should have been in some sort of peril or
astrology's bogus.
injury or accident.
It's bogus. Doesn't work.
But I do believe that if I looked at his family's chart, it would show. Because I think that that's how astrology works. Like, his soul has continued according to these, this belief system.
What's his 12th sign? Well, first of all, you don't know how reliable his birth time is. What's the 12th sign?
The 12th house is Gemini. So Uranus has just entered the 12th house. The moon is in the 12th house, and Venus is in the 12th house currently for him. Sorry, yesterday. But it's not making any harsh aspects to any other bad planet.
I mean, moon in the 12th house is not a good election day, just so you know.
It's not bad
like
either.
You would choose 0 moon.
He went on a vacation
days.
to Costa Rica. The moon in the 12th house just means that you've secluded yourself, right? So it doesn't mean that you're going to experience some sort of injury or anything. It just means that maybe he might have been hospitalized. It doesn't say that he was supposed to meet his demise. It's tough. This is why predicting the time of a person's death, the date of a person's death, is almost impossible, because you'd have to triangulate like all of their closest loved ones and see whether they all show something that they're destined to experience.
Well, no, I wouldn't agree entirely on that, because there are several techniques.
Yeah,
for that,
I know,
including working with progressed charts.
I'm also I'm new enough
from a
at
birth
this
chart. I wouldn't really go there on the birth charts. You know what I mean?
I also suspect that maybe I'm misreading this. Like,
Alyssa's here. What's up, Alyssa?
So the moon is conjoining Neptune in his 10th house.
Yeah.
But it has been for a long time.
Moon conjunct Neptune in the 10th. Oh, his moon
in the Aries 10th house. So it doesn't say anything about, like, I don't know.
Well, I mean, we don't need to belabor it. You can't see it. We can't see it. But the man died, and he drowned, and which is a terrible way to go. Or is it? I don't even know. I have a feeling it would be very peaceful if you just accept it. It's like, oh, you struggle, and then you're like, oh, lungs are full. I guess this is goodbye. And hopefully you get to see like a whale or something before you go.
It does sound distressing.
That would be my first hope. If I could like put the thought together, like, holy shit, this is my last moment on Earth. I would try to see something underwater, like a turtle or something.
You know what? I really suspect that.
Does that sound weird? Because I'd mean that.
No, it doesn't sound weird. That you're about to transmit yourself into another world. So it would be kind of cool if you ventured through another world in this plane on your way.
It's like if I was going to, and this is kind of how I work in terms of like ways in which I incorporate things around me in the mundane world into my own creative world. If I was going to write a drowning scene now as a result of this, and just that moment that struck me, I would write it where we're watching this happen, and then we see him or her, and as their eyes fix on something absolutely beautiful in the water as their last thing that they see.
Oh my God, that reminded me. Do you remember that picture, that photograph that they took of the anglerfish, that like deep water anglerfish?
Yeah.
That was ascending to the light on the surface of the water.
Yeah.
And they said that they only ever like get beached or ascend to the
tragedy is afoot.
when they're passing away. And so they're saying that basically to the anglerfish who has been making his own little illuminated bulb in front of his face for the whole time.
Yeah.
His whole life, that or maybe her whole life, because maybe they're female. That at the moment when they're passing away, they follow the light, the big light, right? And they go to the surface of the water where the sun is.
That's just...
Isn't that crazy?
It's so crazy because like I remember the first time I heard that, you're like, wow, I mean, we all do it.
We all follow the light.
We all go to the light. I truly believe, I truly do. I don't believe anything. I truly hope that the last thing that he saw something beautiful. Like he was in a beautiful place.
I don't know. I feel like it's a little weird to fan fiction somebody, like a real person's passing.
I'm not fan fictioning anything. I'm just saying, I'm just hoping that he saw something beautiful before he died. What was that? Yeah. How's that fan fiction? What? Fan fictioning. Did Bill Cosby comment ask cosmic urgency? He did.
Did what?
Bill Cosby made a comment
Oh yeah.
He did. Yeah. He said that.
That nobody wanted.
Well, somebody wanted it because somebody fucking asked him. And
he might have just put out a press release through his people, you know. He might have initiated it. He was like, "Hey, I haven't
write
been,
about me.
I haven't been relevant in a while."
Well, speaking of not being relevant in a while, and also speaking about like doing weird shit. Like, I don't understand. Like, I'm 55 years old and I'm giving up on so many things. Like, I can't even tell you. Like, they're falling out like fucking, ripe fruit from a tree, bro. They're just boom, 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 boom. Like, I'm just giving up things. Like, I mean, desires, things, dreams, whatever. They're just like things are kind of falling out of the sky for me as far as like, where am I going in this life at 55 years old, right? Like, I'm really leveling off here. You know what I mean? Like, I'm not necessarily in what I can produce or what I do, but in what I think about it or its pursuits, we'll say, more than anything else. And Harvey fucking Weinstein just dropped a lawsuit. I didn't know he had this because I don't follow his life because fuck his life. But he dropped a lawsuit against his brother Bob. And I immediately opened the article because I was, what the fuck are you suing Bob for, right? And so I read the article and he's suing Bob and a couple others at the company because he's saying that they fucking basically looted a bunch of money before the bankruptcy after he had loaned the company $11.5 million.
Oh, I remember this, yeah.
To keep the company afloat as it was, transitioning through a difficult time. And after the bankruptcy, the library was absorbed by Lionsgate. So the library just got absorbed in the, which is a fucking huge deal, by the way. But in any case, I'm sitting there going, what the fuck does this fucking guy, I'm 55 years old. I'm much younger than this guy. I don't have to carry any of the guilt this man carries. I don't have to.
Who? Weinstein.
I don't have to I'm obviously not doing time. I don't have any major health issues that I'm aware of. So, and yet I'm sitting here, like I say, like my dreams are kind of falling out of the tree like fucking overripe fruit. And this guy's sitting in a jail cell where he's going to die and he is counting his fucking money. He is counting his money. He's counting his losses.
Yeah, he's also like battling his family. Like, bro.
Well, so he drops the suit from.
Maybe it's bygones.
So I'm thinking, okay, yeah, right. Maybe it's that. So like maybe it's out. Like maybe he's got a grudge against his brother, right? Oh, I'm the one who went down. I don't know. Maybe he knows that Bob was bad too. I don't know. I heard no rumors about Bob, but I don't know what the fuck he knows.
Whatever brings you peace, bro. Just stay in jail.
Yeah, please. But where was I going with that? Ah, shit. Anyway, fuck. I just can't believe that this guy's sitting there counting money and counting losses. And if you think about it, like as like, is this some kind of like, has he got a grudge against his brother or whatever? It's not that, because the two other people who were employees, he's suing them. He's still suing them. Their lawsuits are continuing.
Well, I think where you were going was.
That's where I was going. That it's not about like, oh, I'm trying to get Bob back, or I want Bob to suffer like I'm suffering a little bit. I want to screw up Bob's life because my life got screwed up. It's like, because he's dropping it against Bob and he's continuing the lawsuit against the other two, who were co-defendants, I suppose.
Oh, so he let his brother off the hook.
So he let his brother off the hook.
Where I thought you were going with that was
which, by the way, can't help his other case.
No, of course not. Where I thought you were going with that was that I thought because we were talking about about Bill Cosby, like soliciting, condolences, like soliciting pity for him, right? Because
I want to think about Bill Cosby in this fucking moment. That's so sad.
Yeah, I know. It's so typical of an abuser to be like, to never miss the opportunity to make people like fawn over them or feel sorry for them or like, send them well wishes or whatever. Like they're like, it just seems so like him to want to insert himself in this moment and just like try and capture as much goodwill as possible.
Yeah, fuck that guy. That's why I'm not interested in, like, I'll talk about it because of the disgust I feel for it, but I'm not going to talk about what he said. You want to go find out what he said, you can go somewhere else, because I'm not telling you, and it's not that big of a deal. He didn't say anything that's all that important, but fuck his words.
No, but I feel like banishment is justified for some people. Like, we can't literally silence you forever, so the next best thing is to just like ignore you forever, if that's okay.
Hey guys, keep helping us out with likes if you can. You don't have to be like getting busy or anything, but just give us a little love so that we can kind of keep this keep the snorkel above the water while we try and grow this thing out. Dale. I shouldn't have done that. No, I didn't realize that what I was doing when I did it. I didn't.
I thought you were going to say keep the lights on,
It does seem like that was in poor taste.
The dog liked it.
That may have seemed like that was in poor taste, but I was not thinking about Malcolm Jamal-Warner when I said that. I am truly sad about his passing, And
Yeah, it's unfair.
and you know, I guess, you know, he's obviously too young. He's got a kid. He's got a wife. He is you know, you get a chance to fucking, you know, snorkel in Costa Rica. You know, it's like,
Was he snorkeling or swimming?
well, I don't know. I'm changing the narrative here. I don't know. I said snorkel because it doesn't matter. You're swimming in Costa Rica, right?
Why are
You
you
know,
fussing?
always good to have a snorkel mask. That was weird. What was that?
This
It was like a
dog-
demon.
No, this
The
dog.
dog made a sound that sounded like
I know,
like,
this dog is
like
fussing at me.
a human being with like a dimmed voice,
Will you stop
just
that?
shouting.
Why are you fussing? This dog we have today does not know how to communicate.
Laura Lee is on with us, telling us so tragically that her boyfriend of 8 years drowned. I just can't imagine the grief that you have to go through, and I'm so sorry that happened to you. And drowning is an interesting, weird sort of death because it's just one I've had probably my most fascination with. I've always had this underwater fascination. I'm my ascendant's conjunct Neptune, and I've always
Also,
had
yeah, you're
a love of underwater.
You're a water sign.
I am a water sign, I'm a Scorpio rising, so
that means like that also means like your fifth house of your creative expression is a water sign, and your ninth house of higher learning is a water sign. So of course you'd be interested in this topic, water.
Yeah, I'm interested in water, especially underwater, and just the terrible tragedy of losing somebody. You know, I almost drowned once. It was extremely frightening. You know, I got pulled out by a lifeguard, but I went under and I took big lungfuls of water.
No way.
I had to cough water out.
Really?
Yeah.
Where was this?
Kingsman Lake in Manitoba.
Oh, they had a lifeguard. That's so good.
Yeah, it's like a relatively small lake, and there was this, and I was a little kid, and there's a platform that the bigger kids get to swim to, and they're all like good looking with their fucking suntans and shit, and they're laying on this wood platform in the middle of this little like lake, and I wanted to be cool like them, you know, so I tried to swim out, and I didn't make it. I did not make it. And they had to pull my ass out, and I'm coughing up water, and it was horrible. It was really painful.
Did they pull you onto the platform or onto the shore?
To the shore. Yeah.
You almost made it.
Yeah. It was, but the fear of it was just, it was a tremendous fear. It was like one of the worst feelings I'd ever experienced. And, yeah, so there's a movie, where, it's A Perfect Storm, I think. Oh no, it's not. It's the one Jeremy Sisto's in. It's White Squall. Ryan Philippe has a drowning death scene that just haunted me.
Spoilers. Dale, is that a spoiler?
It's called White Squall, bro. Things go. That's a spoiler.
I can't believe you just spoiled a Jeremy Sisto movie.
It's true. Jaws is a spoiler. Like
I'm
the
going to
title
tell him.
is a spoiler.
I'm going to tell him you did that. Now everybody's going to be disappointed.
Cosmic Curtains. He's like, spoiler. Oh my god. That's what he just posted.
I like to make fun of Dale for spoilers because he hates it when he hears
That's not
them,
really a
and then he's
spoiler what I just did.
constantly doing it himself.
I know my beard is a little unruly, guys, but I've been so wrapped up in sound issues.
I was wondering if you were going to say that. If you were going to address the beard problem.
Yeah, I've been letting it ride. There was one I was watching. I had a clipped single hair lit with a bounce clinging to my beard. I was watching the tape, and it's just hanging there, swinging back and forth while I'm talking. It looks so bad. And I'm sitting there talking and thinking like everything's great. We're having a good time. Let's talk about this and that. And I got this. It's tantamount to a booger. You know, it really is.
It's not.
And then it got like wiggled free and fell off.
Like you're shedding on camera?
If I had it in 60 frames, I would have done a slow-mo. So here's the thing, right? What people don't know about me. Do you guys have a super talent? Do you have a super talent? I have a super talent. Do you have like a superpower? I have a superpower. My superpower is I can catch flies out of midair with my hands.
This is true.
I could do this, and I do this like a lot.
Yeah, he's really good at it. The other day there was a fly.
But this was the ultimate one.
The other day there was a fly in our house.
Let me set this up because
First, I want to go back in time. We used to have a dog, that also like to chase flies.
Yes.
And the two of you together.
You have it on tape.
Yes. It's so adorable because the two of you together, you'd work as like a team.
We did.
Like the dog would point at where the fly was and you'd go over there and try to catch it.
I'd miss.
That was adorable.
He'd get it.
I love that dog.
That dog's name was Trucker, by the way, one of the coolest dog names I ever had. So Angela says, Dale, would you catch this fly for me? And she points to a fly.
Because we just finished eating. The thing was bugging me the whole time. It's just one fly in
And
our
we have
house.
a baby gate up that's separating us and a dog. And there's a, like a, what do you call those? Like a Mexican blanket? Is that what they're called?
Yeah,
Mexican
just like
blankets?
a wool blanket draped
Like
over.
a wool blanket, but it's like a Mexican blanket, in terms of design.
So the dogs don't stare at each other,
And I couldn't really see it, but I had to like kind of get my eyes on it. It was like, there it was. And it was like a feisty little dude. Like, how they go, he was moving like that. Anyway, I fucking walked up. I did my little magic and I caught him. And I caught him like right between my fingers and the palm of my hand.
I put pictures in the file.
It was there?
Yes.
I'm gonna put a picture up.
So it's in the
You guys got to see it.
It's in the Too Real Live folder.
It's too good.
And it's its own folder that says Dale catches a fly, I think. Something. Should be near the top.
Honestly, Angela squealed for minutes.
Because
like
I just
solid minutes in a row. She
I basically
squealed.
Commanded you to catch the fly
It's the
for
craziest
me,
thing.
and then you immediately did it.
And I walked over and I kind of glanced at it and I caught a fly, a fast young fly.
I was like, Dale, can you catch this fly for me? This thing's annoying. And you just went over and did it. I couldn't believe it.
It was so fucking
Such like
fun.
Mr. Miyagi shit, dude. It's so amazing. Didn't he catch a fly with chopsticks? That's your next challenge.
Yes, he taught. Well, I'll tell you,
That's what you got to do next.
It's Miyagi inspired. It really is.
Did you find it?
I'm working on it. I got Dale caught a fly. It's called. I got to set up a source here. Hang on a second.
It's kind of an amazing superpower.
It is.
And it's so frustrating because I'm the only one that ever gets to see it because, like when are you catching a fly except for inside our house where it doesn't belong,
Exactly. This will just take a minute. Anyway, I feel like I moved on too quickly from the story of this person's passing and just the
Dale, you can't pivot like that. You got to finish with the fly story.
All right, I'll finish with the fly story. Let me see here. Oh, maybe I could just do. Oh no, I can't do that. I think this is what I have to do.
You don't know?
I don't know. I'm trying. It's been a minute. It's kind of been a minute. Nope, that's not it. Let's just continue talking about something else because this is going to take a second for me. I had to do a complete reinstall of the whole fucking system.
Oh, so you don't have a way anymore? Well, I wish you hadn't brought it up because we should find it and then.
I'm just setting it up. Do
you want to get it ready for tomorrow?
I'm getting it ready now, so we can just talk about it. And there it is. I think I found it.
Mandy says, "Oh hey, happy Monday, guys." Hi, Mandy.
Happy Monday, indeed. Oh.
Cosmic Urgency wants to know, how can you be so sensitive about spoilers and then spoil everything you talk about?
Well, I'll tell you.
That's what I'm saying.
I have to concentrate on it. It's not easy. All right, let me actually just throw in copy. I don't, though.
You do.
I don't.
You do. You need to admit it.
I don't. You guys are being mean, both of you. I don't. I'm not a spoiler. That's not a spoiler. I'm not talking about these little tiny spoilers. The only reason I said that I think crying is a spoiler is because crying is a major emotional accomplishment in our work as artists. Mandy's here. What's up? Mandy is here on Monday. It's Mandy Monday.
I told you. I just told you.
You did?
Yes.
I'm not here, guys.
Okay.
I'm trying to get shit set up, bro. All right. Let me just put this on here and then.
Did it work?
Hang on.
I feel like we're making too big of a deal of this, so they're going to look at this
not.
and be like, "This is."
It's not. It's good. I just gotta get our sound in. Hang on. Desktop. Paste. Thank you. All right. Now. It's ready. Save. Okay. All right, guys. This is so funny. All right, she took 3 pictures. Check it out. This is just all they can see is the picture, not us. But look at this is so funny. You got to admit this is funny, bro. So she's like, catch this fly. And I snatched this little bugger right out of thin air, guys. Look at it. Dude, I put him down and he was like, what the fuck? What the fuck? And then off he went.
No, go into the next ones.
I did all 3.
You did all 3?
Yeah, started with the wide one.
Oh my God.
That was the wide one.
Now I'm seeing it.
It's so funny. All right, there you go. That's the party.
You caught it in between your palm and fingertip.
I did. Do you know anybody who's done that ever?
I had never known anybody that did that before you.
So the funny story about that is we just moved to Athens and I was hanging out with this guy who wanted to make a movie with me. And I was like, yeah, I'll make a movie with you. That'd be cool. And he was like, yeah, meet me at this place and it's actually just down the street from where I am right now. He was like, meet me at this place and we'll have a lunch and we'll talk about it. So Angela and I went there and we were sitting at our table and this fly was buzzing around and I was like, fuck it. And I just snatched it out of air like I do. It's like a little Venus flytrap action. It's, I'm obviously going to have a character who does it. I don't use my thumb. No, my thumb.
No, you just clap your.
I clap my hand together and I snatch it up. That's how I get it. It's like a very, very snappy, quick, like.
You also make sure,
flick of the wrist
like you determine which direction the fly is going to fly in, and
it's
then you
all
get
scientific, bro. I got all the physics and yeah. So, but we were at this restaurant and I grabbed it, and his eyes kind of popped open, and Angela looked at him and smiled. And where we were sitting, by the way, we were sitting at this window, and I got it. It switched. We were sitting at this window, and so Angela looked at the guy after I'd caught the fly in my hands, and she said,
and he was like in disbelief.
The first time I saw him do that, that's when I knew. That's what he said to me.
That's when I knew he was the one.
That was the moment I knew he was the one. And then I walked outside, and I looked into the window, and this guy, like I'm literally pitching to make a movie with this guy, and I walk up to the window, and I just go, and it just picks up and flies off. It's very funny.
The dude was amazed. He had never seen anything like it.
I'm sure everybody has left. I haven't even looked at the stats. We're probably down to one person again. Anyway, that's the fly story. It was a great day. You know, when you catch a fly like that, it really does make your day. It's like catching like a really like hard catch in the outfield, Like you got to like dive for it.
It's just wonderful. It's also very it's very useful. Everybody wants to get a fly out of their house. Arable Aerosol on TikTok.
Yes.
Has been writing about your movie.
Oh, what?
Would you like to hear?
Yes, please. Well, what's their name again? I'm sorry.
Arable Aerosol.
Arable Aerosol. Well, hello and welcome. I don't know if we've met before, but I'm Dale.
Loved to Real.
Oh, that's so cool.
Don's Plum is my special interest subject, so it was a really great read for me.
Oh, that's great. I wrote it for you. I really did. I wrote this book for you.
Don's Plum was my favorite movie in my 20s and still one of my favorites today.
That's so great.
Question. Do you ever speak to Kevin of Entourage anymore? I met him once and asked him about Don's Plum.
I haven't talked to him. I haven't talked to Kevin, no.
Do you want to know what he said?
Yeah.
He said it was a shame what happened behind the scenes. And he's right about that.
Yeah, it's a shame what he did to his own film and what he did to his friends. It's embarrassing, actually. It's a tragedy, in my opinion. I'm having, that you're here today is a really, really special thing for me. And the reason it is because I am, as much as I believe that I am no longer depressed, I go through phases where I just feel so much pain over it, where I feel so much loss over it. RD and I had a short interaction the other day, and the love between us is just not there. It's just not there. The relationship's not there anymore. It's just dead. The conversations are dead, and it hurts. And I have my issues with Artie Robb and the way that he handled a lot of this, and certainly with his mother, as I point out in the book, but. It's still very painful. And so just, speaking with him, I haven't spoken to him in, I guess, months now. And so I hadn't talked to him in forever. So we spoke to him or texted him. It wasn't even speaking. And I was feeling really down today, bro. So this is such a lift me up situation. Thank you for coming. I wrote the book for you. I swear I wrote the book for you. I thought about you guys every single, because I know that we have a pocket full of fans out there.
Yeah.
You know?
That Arable Aerosol says Don's Plum was my favorite movie in the 20s and still one of my faves today.
Yeah.
Like you definitely did. I remember you talking about this, that you wrote your book for them.
Yeah. So that you've come and shared this with me is, of course, extremely uplifting, incredibly inspiring, and I'm very glad to be here to receive it. So thank you so much, and thank you for coming. Hope you'll come again, too.
Vicious Vixen is with us on TikTok.
Vicious Vixen.
Says, sending hugs.
You're the best. Thank you so much. I'm so glad you're here. Yeah, it was a weird day, odd day. It was like a weird day to hear about, because I've had these really mixed feelings today. I've been very excited about this live, but before this live, and I've been like dealing with all these like technical problems for like a week and a half that have really like slowed down my progress in terms of what I want to achieve, my goals, all this other stuff, which is whatever. But stuff I can get over. But just having a tough day, and so having the opportunity to hang out with you guys has certainly helped a big deal. And then to have somebody come by and not, somebody like Vicious Vixen sending hugs, and
yeah, that's sweet.
A fan of the movie and book coming by to say, hey, thank you for the work. I've only had an opportunity to pour my heart into two things in my life, like to pour my heart into things. I've given things part of me, but there's only two things that exist that I've given all of myself to those two things as I tried to create them. And, that's Don's Plum and Too Real. And
more to come.
There's more to come for sure. But
I have to step out.
Let me just transition you out then.
Do you know what you're going to talk about while I'm gone? Because I'm going to miss it, and I want to know what I'm missing.
I'll try to fill you in when you get back. I don't really know. I don't know.
Okay, well, here's the thing.
You're putting me on the spot, really.
Daisy May Mom is saying, did you see the insurance thing that filed against Justin Baldoni?
We are going to get into that when Angela gets back.
I know.
Yes.
I am
We
stoked
did.
about this news, and I want to tell you guys everything.
We have more to talk about than just the insurance, but the insurance is a big deal. But there's also the
it really opens
the
up
anonymous, the fucking anonymous, I'm already upset.
Don't be upset.
I'm already...
No, there's no point.
Get me on a bad day for this, but the anonymous content creator who contacted the judge, disrespected the court and my mom.
So I'm off now?
You are now, yeah.
Okay.
Somebody, Erica, Angela, no, don't go.
You're
So
nothing without me.
I am. That is a fact.
No.
We are going to get into we're going to get into all that shit for sure. We're going to get into the insurance. We're going to get into this anonymous, I swear to God, like, Baldoni, the Baldoni content creators are by and large, I'm not speaking about all of them, by and large, they're fucking idiots. Like, just absolute, complete, bona fide idiots. And I'm saying that the leader of the pack of all of them is definitely the big oaf Andy Signor. He's the leader of the pack, but honestly, like, they're calling themselves whistleblowers. Can you believe the stupidity in that? Can you imagine being so stupid as to literally be a YouTuber who's reporting on something that somebody else is telling them and then considering themselves whistleblowers? How is that even possible?
Blake Lively's a whistleblower.
Blake Lively is a whistleblower. I mean, technically speaking, she is a whistleblower.
She told the CRD about everything that happened.
But the term whistleblower is a term that was created to create protections for people to be able to come forward without retaliation by their employers or whomever, it might be, organization, government, entity, whatever it might be. Angela will be right back, Vicious Vixen. She's just transferring a dog back to a client. So, yeah. I don't know. It's pretty fucking nuts. These guys are dumber than wood. I hate using these terms because I don't want to like be disparaging toward anybody who has any kind of learning disabilities or learning challenges. I'm not speaking about these kinds of things, which, by the way, I don't know if you heard, but speaking of this, did you hear that there's Japanese scientists who may have found, I know I'm digressing, but Angela's not here to keep me on track, that there is a Japanese group of scientists, and they have been able to isolate X chromosome 21, I think it's called, or whatever, but it's the chromosome responsible for Down syndrome, and they're able to delete it in the early stages of fetal development in mice and other mammals, and they believe that they're going to have the same success with humans if they haven't already. I'm not quite sure as I sit here. We're on the verge, because of these Japanese scientists, of eradicating Down syndrome forever. I think it's an incredible... It is 21, right? Thank you. So, yeah, so it's chromosome 21. I just think this is like so... like just some of the best news ever. And really interesting in terms of the age of the Aquarius, having Pluto come in there and shake things up a little bit. So really fucking cool. But... we're on the verge of... So check out the Japanese, bro. They're about to eradicate Down syndrome, and they're growing teeth, human teeth. Have you heard of this? Do you know what I'm talking about? They're growing human teeth in Japan. What they found out is scientifically that mammals have a second set of teeth, a second set of adult teeth. And so what they did was they found a way to genetically induce the growth of these teeth. So by 2030, I believe it's by 2030-ish, around there, they anticipate going to market where you can go and buy... I'm going to get a whole new set. I'm going for the whole thing. I'm going to buy tops and bottoms. I'll mortgage whoever's... I don't have a house, but I'll borrow someone's house and mortgage it. But I'm going to get all my teeth. All my teeth are going to get grown in. That's it. So exciting things coming out of Japan, incredible things. I've known a couple of people now who chose to terminate their pregnancies because they had, they do the Downs test. And I knew a couple people who chose to terminate their pregnancies to avoid, creating a hard life for everyone, including the child, of course. And you never know how bad Downs will be, I suppose. And so there's all these factors. I don't know. I'm not necessarily speaking to their decision. But to say that it's just amazing and beautiful to think that decision is not going to exist in a very short time. That decision is never going to have to be made again. Yeah, Vicious Vixen says, fresh teeth sounds nice. So I'm saying, man, a whole new set. Bro, fix it up, man. I got fillings and my teeth are gnarly, man. They're showing their age, you know what I'm saying? Oh, Mandy's back. Mandy, what are we talking? We're talking about growing teeth. Did you hear about this, Mandy? I got to get Mandy up to date. First of all, what I told everyone, Mandy, is that in Japan, some scientists have discovered a way to isolate the X chromosome 21 and delete it from early child development, fetal development, thus eradicating Down syndrome. And they've successfully pulled this off in mammals. I believe it's mice and others. And they're anticipating that it's going to work in humans. With that said, it's going to be a massive breakthrough because Down syndrome will be gone forever. And I was just talking about how the Japanese are like totally just progressing all this incredible medicine because another set of scientists, dentists, I think actually, discovered that all mammals have the capability of growing a second set of teeth, adult teeth. And they've successfully grown these teeth in lab animals, and they are now testing humans. So in Japan right now, people are growing their second set of teeth. And I was just saying, Mandy, that I'm gonna get a whole new set of chiclets for me, man. I'm getting a whole new pack of chiclets when that comes out, bro. I'll mortgage everything. I'll sell everything. I'll do whatever. I'll do whatever. I'll sell my soul to the devil. Just give me some new chiclets. Mandy is saying on YouTube that testing for Down syndrome was a big part of her career as a midwife. Obviously people are entirely concerned about it, and I wouldn't blame anybody for making a decision to save somebody's potentially save somebody a great deal of difficulty. It's just hard to imagine that life. So anyway, I've fortunately never been put in a situation where I had to make a decision about whether or not, to keep a pregnancy going over something as awful as Down syndrome and not knowing, to what extent the Down syndrome would be and all this other stuff. So it's, yeah. Vicious Vixen calls them chiclets too. Oh, well, they look like chiclets, man. And when they're nice and shiny, they kind of shine like chiclets. You know what I'm talking about. Oh, Arabella, I'm sorry if I get your name wrong because it's my eyes. But you said, I don't know if you can see my comments when they go off screen, by the way. Oh, I scroll up. I'm going to scroll up and see some of your other comments. It's really good. It reminds me of kids, but more happily, ultimately. Oh, that's cool. You remember in the book when we talked about kids. When I saw kids, man, I thought... So, by the way, we're just talking a little bit about the movie, guys. We have a person whose name is hard for me to pronounce because of my glasses, and it's hard to see, but it says Arab. Angela said your name earlier, and I apologize for getting it wrong. But anyway, this person has shown up who has read the book, watched the movie, was a fan of the movie for a long time, still is a fan of the movie, and so when they found out about the book, and I wrote the book as a companion to the movie for sure. Anyway, says that it reminds them of kids, but more happy ultimately, and that was that's the best news you could bring me because that was the whole. I mean, I hadn't seen Kids when we made Don's Plum. Kids came out. Kids came out the weekend we were shooting. Literally, as we were shooting Don's Plum, our friends the friends who weren't shooting with us had gone and seen Don's Kids and would not stop talking about it. But there was a certain optimism that I really wanted at the end of Don's Plum. I wanted there to be optimism. I wanted people to believe that we could inherit the earth, that we could inherit the madness, and that we were as competent as anyone who's come before us. So I'm really glad you got that because that matters to me more than anything. No, you shouldn't be mad at Kevin. Me and Kevin got a beef, right? Kevin Connolly. So she's asking. I'm saying. I hope I'm not misgendering you by calling you a she. I'm so sorry if I have. But this person whose gender I don't know says, and whose name I'm having difficulty pronouncing, says that says asking if they should have been mad at Kevin because he seems so nice. Kevin Connolly is one of the nicest guys I knew when he didn't turn into a complete fucking asshole and destroy some of his friends' lives over something as ridiculous as making a movie in Hollywood with your friends. So my only beef with Kevin Connolly is the way that he treated his friends when it came to Don's Plum, and ultimately the way he treated his own work. I've never seen such disregard for art as I had seen by these men. You know what I mean? It was fucking discouraging to say the least. Vicious Vixen also having a bit of a tough day, so I have company. Misery loves company, they say, and I'm so glad to have yours. I don't know if you can see my comments. I can see your comments. Chromosome 21. Fresh teeth sounds nice, so I think I'm caught up. There we are, all caught up. Lovely. Can you imagine getting a fresh set of chiclets? That's going to be expensive, right? It sucks. It shouldn't be, right? Like, I mean, if it's just a matter of just like a procedure that's relatively easy, like an injection, a pill, whatever it might be, like if it's not a very highly complicated thing, they should not make it expensive. I think they got to make everything so damn expensive. Like the first VCRs were like, you have to fucking get a mortgage. I remember we had a neighbor who got a satellite dish. It looked like, SETI, you know what I'm talking about? His backyard. Like it was like the size of a fucking swimming pool, this thing. He paid a fucking fortune for that thing. And it took up his whole backyard. Ruined his backyard. Early adopters, man. Early adopters. Oh, Daisy Mom is saying, Daisy May Mom is saying, new teeth when I'm older would be great, but I don't want to have them, but I don't have to wear braces again. Dude, if I get to grow teeth again, I'm going to grow them all in crooked and shit. Let's go. I'm cool crooked. I think crooked is great. I mean, I love a perfect smile. Don't get me wrong. In fact, I'm kind of addicted to, like, I have a hard time not looking at people's mouths when they speak, like exclusively. Kind of makes me feel bad. Like, I feel like I should be looking at their eyes too. So I love a perfect grill, but I also like the ones that have character, right? When I was bumming around with Jeremy Sisto, Meadow Sisto, Marissa Ryan, I was working at this place. I was working at this furniture store, and I was kind of making a killing at it. And this dentist came in and he wanted to make a deal on some furniture. And my boss let me buy this wholesale furniture and I was able to get like some dental work. And I was like shopping, like what should I get? Because my teeth are a little fucked up. And I was going to get this whole new grill, you know, like veneers, like a full set of porcelain veneers. And the dentist had his daughter. He was like, "Do you like these?" And she smiled. And I was like, "Man, they're beautiful." And they really were. So I told Marissa Ryan that I was going to get this new grill. And she freaked on me, man. She was like, "What the fuck is wrong with you?" And I'm like, "What? I'm just going to get make my teeth all shiny and new so that I can, like, you know, get some acting gigs." And she's like, she just went off about how my teeth, crooked as they were, or are, you know, it was character. It was unique. It was like what distinguished me from, you know. And I was like, I remember being jealous about Jeremy Sisto's teeth, and I was like so naive because I didn't really know anything about dental work, really. And I was like, man, but Jeremy Sisto, man, he's got the most perfect teeth. And then she just like cocked her head in that way that, you know, makes you feel like you said something stupid. And she said, "They're fake, Dale." And I went, "What?" "They're veneers." I was devastated. You didn't write in the book about writing/directing for Jeremy Sisto. Was he good at improv? Yes, Jeremy Sisto was excellent at improv. I mean, his scene in Don's Plum, I think, is just genuinely wonderful. I don't have the script in front of me, but I think I just wrote like, all I remember telling him is that he had to kick the person out of the car physically. Like he had to kick Amber Benson out of the car, physically remove her. And that was the only thing that he had to do. And it was obviously he was instructed not to cause her harm or pain or any kind of physical whatever. But the idea was that, you know, that Amber's character, Amy, was, you know, she had a bad run with dudes that night, basically. Oh, here we go. Mandy's asking some book club stuff. Hey, let me get my copy. Can you go grab my book?
Your book?
Yeah, she's bringing up pages. We're having book club moment. Mandy says, "Sorry, but another book club moment, please. Page 276, when Don's Plum got financially stalled. I love your quote where you said, 'My heart ached like a bad breakup.' Taylor Swift could never." That's great. I didn't actually need my book. She just quoted one of my. Yeah, that is very lyrical, actually. You know, I'll tell you, Angela, just so you know, Mandy was saying that she's quoting my book, and she said she loved this quote where I said, when Don's Plum got stalled, I said, the quote was, "My heart ached like a bad breakup." And that's so lyrical. It's true. And I was just about to say that one of the things that make it so lyrical, welcome back, by the way, Angela, or why I write lyrically a little bit, or don't you think I write a little lyrically at times? Wouldn't you say so?
Well, you don't like write in rhymes.
No, of course not. I wish I could, actually. If I could write a whole book, like lyrics, I would do it all day long. Anyway, I listen to a lot of, like, unlike most writers, when I write, I listen to lyrics. Because I can get inspired by lyrics and not distracted by them. Especially if I really... Now, with that said, I can't listen to lyrics of songs I don't know all the words to.
I can't listen to lyrics at all.
When you write?
No, because I'm such a wordy person. Like, I'm just such a word nerd. If somebody's talking, I listen. Like, I'm like a really good eavesdropper. It was actually one of the super distressing things about living in a foreign country where I wasn't really fluent. I wasn't fluent at all when I showed up. And the weirdest thing for me was being in a public place with a bunch of other people that were talking, like a cafe or anything, and never being able to eavesdrop a single thing.
Yeah.
Like, it was extremely isolating, and I just never predicted how that would feel so weird.
Yeah.
So whenever, like, if I put lyrics, or sometimes people will listen to white noise that's like cafe noise, and I find myself trying to pick out the words in the, you know, in the soundtrack or in an actual cafe.
Right.
I can't focus at all.
See, well, sometimes I'll actually go down the words as a means to keep me inspired or to make me feel a connection to the beauty of the language. Like,
it's just so, your brain is just so incredible, because, like, I feel like comparatively I have a circuit board of my brain that's like this big.
Right.
Yours is like the size of this wall. You could have
it's like
so
a
many
big mixing board.
Yeah, you could have so many like circuits plugged in at the same time. It's
and
true. Still be able to function. It actually helps you, you know?
It does.
Not me. I have to be like one thing.
It's true because I think I have like layers of things that I can access when I need them, and I can also get them all going at the same time. In essence, anyway,
I do feel like creatively, I feel like you have one of those genius brains, like one of those things that people talk about where they can't really figure out, and you can't really explain how you do it, but the rest of us kind of just like have like normal speed, and you're at like hyper speed. You're also like an incredible idea generator. And I've always been like able to like copy and organize and like, sort of refine thoughts, but I've never been able to generate ideas like you can.
I wish I could do it even more. You know what? I'll tell you what's happening to me that is new. Let me just shoot over because I'm out of frame. What's happening to me that is new is musical ideas. Like I've been picking up my guitar and coming up with like real like nice
you've been doing
phrases.
Really nice thing. Like I love the blues and stuff you're just coming up with.
Yeah, I'm just coming up with these phrases.
We should start recording it.
I'm starting to feel tempted. Like it's getting to that point where I'm like, God, I might have to start capturing some of this and like maybe work on it. I mean, I'm not gonna like, become some kind of fucking musician or anything right now. But like, I mean, if I can write.
Sounds like you already are one.
You know what? I'll tell you what. A scene that never made the book that broke both of our hearts was I was at this telemarketing gig after all the shit went down, and I was working with this older lady. She was probably in her 60s, and her name was Kitty. She had a dyed blonde hair, and she wore red lipstick, and you could tell that she was a good time girl, like back in the day. Like this girl, like she went to the parties, and
how could you tell?
And it was just like her whole like attitude, like she was like when you got a party girl, like I don't mean that in a bad way, I mean that in a great way actually. Like I'm talking about like somebody who I'd want to get down with like and party for the night. I'm not talking strictly from a non-sexual standpoint. I'm talking about like just hanging with a good girl. But not to digress into that, Kitty was just like a really good time, probably in her early 60s, had a little sass to her, really awesome. And we were selling bubblegum. We were selling bubblegum to convenience stores via the telephone. And I was miserable because Don's Plum had crashed and burned.
That's such a devastating just situation. I cannot believe that after Don's Plum, after you made a movie with a star, after
I'm peddling bubblegum to try to get to $200 a week.
Harvey Weinstein in Miramax like shakes your hand and calls it smart filmmaking.
Yeah.
You're selling bubblegum?
Yeah.
Telemarketing?
Yeah, so
God.
It was well,
that's grim.
It was tearing my soul, apart. And Kitty would often ask me for a ride home. And so one night, one evening after our shift, or early evening after our shift, Kitty was like, can you give me a ride home? I said yes. And she looked over at me and she was like, you don't belong here. And I said, what? She was like, you don't belong here. You don't belong here with us. You belong somewhere else. What do you want to do? And I looked over at her because Don's Plum had it was dead. My career, it was dead. Everything was dead. And I just looked over at her and I got a little choked up, as you know I do. And I said, I think I want to write a beautiful song, just one beautiful song in my life. I just want to write one beautiful song. And this big beautiful smile opened up on her, and she said, you're gonna do that. You're gonna write a beautiful song. You'll go do that. It's gonna happen. I believe that.
That's devastating, Dale.
It was wild. It was a wild moment.
Why are you telling me this story? It's gonna make me cry.
Why?
I think you have to write this. This has to be.
I have the scene.
This has to be a part of your book club, bonus materials.
Oh my God! I should read one scene for her. And Mandy too. Mandy wasn't here.
Dale, you're gonna cry.
No, I'm not gonna cry. I'm gonna do that. I won't do it this instant, or maybe I should do it this instant while I have them here.
Well, I know that there are people who want to talk about.
Let's talk.
The Baldoni.
Let's hear all
about
it.
Yeah,
no, we lost half of our viewers on that last chat. So, yeah, let's talk about that shit. Let's go.
Would you like to schedule a time that you're gonna do a reading and then invite those people? Is that what you'd like to do, or do you want to?
Do you guys want to see the pictures of me catching a fly again? The TikTok didn't get to see them.
Oh no! They'll have to watch the replays.
I caught a fly.
We're gonna edit it. We're gonna put it on an episode.
I just love that I did it on demand. That's what makes it so special. So let's talk about the things.
Okay. You're making promises of reading scenes. That's why.
I am going to read scenes. Not this instant.
Mandy said, "No, don't. You're literally making me tear up."
It was the coolest little moment, man. Kitty telling me.
You have to write it. You have to write it out as a scene. And I cannot believe it's not in your book.
I couldn't fit it in.
I know, because you had a different pace in your part 4.
It was
There's
contrived.
just no way for a scene to get wedged in there. That's why it has to be included
it's a part
in
of
the
what,
end. Or bonus materials.
Yeah, part 4 of the book.
It's like an important part of the story.
Part 4 of the book was I rewrote that part 3 times or maybe 4 times. I wrote 120,000 separate words alone just for part 4 because I had to separate. I had to change the voice from parts 1 through 3 into part 4. Like after RD and I are crying on the porch, I go into part 4, and I just felt like it needed a whole new voice, and that's why I ended up not getting the kitty scene in there. But I'll never forget Kitty, bro. Sometimes I think about her. I wonder if she's still alive.
That's amazing. Okay, today
I'd cry if I saw her.
Are we ready to pivot?
Yeah, let's go, Kitty.
Today, Wayfair got sued again.
So Wayfair, they just kind of just get sued these days.
So now that's 5 lawsuits against Wayfair in 5 years that they've been a company.
So now they've been sued by their insurance company.
Yes.
And this lawsuit is particularly interesting because this lawsuit is so damning in so many different levels. At so many different levels. The first one is obvious. The first one is, we're not going to pay your fucking legal fees, dicknut. You're going to have to pay for those. Now, they have a billionaire. Funny thing about billionaires is they don't have a lot of cash. Funny thing about billionaires is they live off of loans.
So this is starting to weigh heavily on him?
So it just becomes annoying. It's not that they don't have the resources, just the resources getting them. It becomes, there's tax liabilities. There's all kinds of problems that happen.
Amazing.
If they don't have these clear and clean sort of avenues like through their insurance. So the insurance company has filed a lawsuit, and what they're asking is for declaratory relief, essentially, right? They're just saying these guys don't get any help from us. And the reason they don't get any help from us, and this is the damning part, is because when Justin Baldoni filled out the application to be underwritten for this insurance, they asked if there were any reported incidents particular to...
Every year, they have to report any incidents that could result in any claims. And they neglected to do that.
Right.
So the insurer is filing this lawsuit saying, we were uninformed.
Well, they didn't fail to do that. They lied. They said there were no claims. They said there were no such claims when
so here's the
they,
explanation.
through discovery... great.
This is amazing. Okay. So the filing from the insurance company said the Lively action, right? That's Blake Lively's... a legal complaint. Okay?
Yes. Yeah.
Further alleges that although Lively complained about and reported the sexual harassment during April through June 2023, those reports were ignored, which created a hostile work environment on the basis of her gender, which is something that the insurance company does not cover.
Well, can you imagine? Like, just think about that. Like, they're literally saying, without a court, without a jury, without a trial, without even a completed discovery, they're saying, based on the information that they have and which they are submitting as evidence, that this was a toxic work environment created by them and which they didn't report.
I feel like it's a bummer that they used Lively's complaint to make that point, because Justin Baldoni, maybe it's because the timeline is an exhibit and it's not actually in his complaint, but on Justin Baldoni's stupid website, where he has all of the lawsuit info, right? Lawsuitinfo.com or something.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah.
On the timeline document, they outline exactly the time in May of 2023 when they were fielding all of these complaints from Lively. And the way that they frame it in their own filing, in Baldoni's own filing, is they frame it that she was exaggerating. That he called her sexy. Yes, he's her boss, and he called her sexy. But she took it out of context, and he apologized for it like 3 times. Come on.
In a row. I'm sorry.
No. He apologized at the time, and then he apologized for it later. And then, he was like, it's just a joke. You're overreacting. You know what I mean?
Tapped her on the butt.
Yeah, right.
Sorry. Toots.
So it's really weird that the insurance company is using her filing as evidence instead of his own, But maybe the reason for that is because this is an exhibit and not an actual lawsuit. Do you want to hear what they say
Yes.
about Lively's complaints?
Yes, please.
This is also evidence. Whenever anybody is running around online saying that Lively has no evidence of complaining about harassment on the set, you can look to none other than Justin Baldoni's own filings,
That's
where
right.
they admit it. Okay, so
I just, it's the most. This is the most amazing thing. There, Blake Lively has no proof. Please see Justin Baldoni's own website for the proof. It's all there. It's not all there, but all that you need is there. It's crazy.
okay. Upon returning to, I'm just going to skip because there's some context before this where they're admitting to getting complaints and they're of course reframing it, but this is the part that actually compiles it all. Okay,
Yeah.
June 1st, 2023. Upon returning to production, Lively requested a meeting with Baldoni and the film's producers, during which she shared a series of grievances. They're saying it. They're saying that she shared a series of grievances, and that she appeared to have spent the last 5 days overanalyzing. From the outset, it was clear that she had scrutinized every minor interaction and perceived slight from the previous week.
So just stop right there. Minor interaction is a subjective fucking thing. And this is the part where everyone says, oh, she's never going to prove SH.
Go ahead and minimize it.
The only thing she has to prove is that she filed for SH. As far as proving SH, it's a subjective thing.
Yeah.
We have, and we actually read from top to bottom, the CRD's.
It's right here. Would you like to?
Yeah. So you want to read some of it? It's a big document.
This is the California Civil Rights Department's fact sheet about sexual harassment. Okay. Let's see. Okay, there are two types of sexual harassment. The first is quid pro quo, which is like you do me favors and I promote you.
Yeah.
The second one is hostile work
The
environment.
Harvey Weinstein approach.
Hostile work environment. Sexual harassment occurs when unwelcome comments or conduct based on sex unreasonably interferes with your work performance or creates an intimidating, hostile, or offensive work environment.
Now, where in that was there some measure other than what's going to happen to that it's personally offensive to an individual?
This is, you may experience sexual harassment even if the offensive conduct was not aimed directly at you.
So
The harassment must be severe or pervasive to be unlawful. A single act of harassment may be sufficiently severe to be unlawful. It seems like a contradiction, but they're saying even just a single event of harassment is enough to consider it harassment. Okay.
Yes.
So in the meeting, this is back to Baldoni's own filing. Okay.
By the way, just in case you're new to the channel, the reason we're into the Blake Lively trial is because it very much mirrors what went on with my own situation. Except my film actually did get banned and
get stolen
and was stolen, and my career was ruined.
And you're a victim of a smear campaign.
And I am a victim of a smear campaign. And to this day, my book, my work is all suppressed to this very moment, this very exact moment.
Okay, do you want to hear more?
Yes, please.
So this is from Baldoni's filing, okay? So he said, June 1st, 2023, in the meeting, Lively revisited the sexy comment, an issue Baldoni had already apologized for twice, first minutes after the incident on May 23rd, 2023, and again later. Lively herself had previously acknowledged and seemingly accepted the apology. Despite this, Baldoni apologized a third time, smooth it all over, in an effort to move forward. Additionally, she accused Heath of looking at her on May 16th, 2023, so that's even earlier, when she had specifically asked him to turn his back during a conversation in her makeup trailer. This is when she was undressing, and she was like, would you mind turning around so you don't see me? Heath explained that he hadn't realized he had looked directly at her, but apologized nonetheless. Lively
These
acknowledged...
guys were thirsty for this woman. They were thirsty.
Just really weird behavior.
This fucking guy. So, and I'm just interjecting a little bit.
Why would you ever look at somebody who's undressed after they've asked you not to? Why would you ever look at somebody who's undressed even if they didn't ask you not to?
I wouldn't be in the trailer.
You wouldn't be in the... You're like, oh,
No.
You're undressing?
I would
Allow
walk
me to
out-
step
I
out. We'll
would
talk
not
when
be
you're
in that
dressed.
trailer. I would not be in that trailer.
You're going to be dressed in 2 seconds. Like, talk to me when you're done.
100%, especially if I'm in that trailer with somebody who's married with children,
Yes.
so on and so forth. Like,
Come on.
I'm not in that trailer.
Right, because you don't want allegations.
Especially if I'm married.
This is after...
with children.
This is after Me Too. May 16th, 2023 was
Right,
the trailer
exactly. And
incident.
it's not even 1997.
He's not trying to protect himself.
Right.
Okay. Lively further claimed that Heath had shown her a video of his wife's home birth and thought it was pornographic. Heath, shocked by this characterization, where he literally shows her a dark a dim photograph
Showing a mother of 4.
of a naked woman
You know,
in a
so
pool.
you're like, hey, you've never done this before. Let me show you a video. You're showing somebody who's had 4 kids.
Heath, shocked by this characterization, confirmed that she did in fact understand that it was a video of a post-birth recording of his wife and newborn daughter. He also explained that Baldoni had asked him to show the clip to Lively as part of a creative discussion, and that according to her, it happened while she was eating lunch, and it was after the filming the scene where it would have been relevant afterwards.
What I was trying to say was,
despite the explanation,
by the way,
Heath apologized once more. So you see, California Civil Rights Department, they apologized and everything was fine. Well, it looks like here on the California Civil Rights Department, the things that are employer responsibility and liability, and the things that they say civil remedies, all the things that the employer is supposed to do in order to protect themselves and to protect the employee, is none of which are apologizing.
You know what's so interesting about this? Because when we looked at this CRD document, which is basically like a cheat sheet for compliance, they are eager to work with employers to implement a secure and compliant workplace.
Yeah, of course, because preventing lawsuits is the best thing for everybody.
It's just like the easiest
too
thing
much
in the world.
work.
It's crazy. It's the easiest thing in the world. Like, it's an incredible resource. I mean, look, I didn't know about it. I wouldn't have known it existed unless somebody pointed it to me.
Okay,
so I'm
here's
not
the
going
thing.
to blame them for it. But there was sitting there, all of the remedies.
Yeah, and as a corporation, they should have known that. As a company who works in California, they should have known that. Or they could have looked it up. Like, it took me 2 seconds to find this, I don't have a business.
The guy's an HR software provider. And
oh my God, I forgot.
If you're an
Steve
HR...
Sarowitz, his wealth was built on HR software.
And if
Why
you're...
doesn't he know this?
Usually software means that they do things like they incorporate compliance into the software. So you can track things like,
they're the worst.
You can track regs. I used to sell way back in the day. I used to sell translated government legalese docs. Like, so whether it's like dot regs or HIPAA or anything like that, I would, this company I worked for, they had these lawyers who would take these legalese and then they would create compliance manuals.
Oh, yeah, like this. Like, I'm reading from the CRD's fact sheet.
Right.
It's just 2 pages, and everything is in plain English, and it's just one source for everything you need to know. You could even search for it. The CRD sexual harassment fact sheet, and it'll come up with a PDF link, and you can just read it.
The fucking handiest thing in the world,
I know.
dude.
They could have put it up in their office. Anyway, so all of this is to say that the insurance company found out about this after the fact. And so they are saying that a lawsuit occurred between Blake Lively because of this unsafe work environment that Justin Baldoni and Wayfarer had allowed to persist, right?
Yeah.
They created and then didn't fix their unsafe work environment.
Yeah.
Or gender discrimination or whatever the hell. And that they don't cover that sort of thing. Like, the insurer is going to make sure that they're helping companies who are trying their best to follow the rules and obey the law. They're not going to insure somebody for like screwing up and then getting sued for it.
Well, the other thing is that they assess either whether or not somebody can be underwritten. In other words, you can't get insurance if you're a known violator, right? Like if you become uninsurable, or your insurance is so much money, like a ridiculous amount of money. Because if you're somebody who's had multiple car accidents, for example, good luck. I mean, the whole thing we know about when you get a car accident, if it's your fault, is that your insurance goes up. Right? Mm-hmm. So if these guys have history, or they have propensity or tendency toward any of these problems, they're not going to get underwritten. But even if they might get underwritten because maybe they're falling within a certain, whatever parameter that allows, there's a certain tolerance, right? Where their premiums are going to be affected. So it's a risk assessment essentially.
It's just sickening. Just thinking about like the Baldoni timeline document, how they're minimizing repeated harassment of this woman, like repeated uncomfortable situations. They're creating these situations where she has to be like, yo, could you not, like, can you stop? Like, can we, like, instead of just being normal, decent people in a workplace. It's really crazy. So here is more from the...
Erica says, see, they can be totally gross as long as they apologize afterward.
Or my favorite is, it was just a joke. You're overreacting.
Oh, it's
like when they said that she was obviously stewing and like creating, scandal out of nothing.
I hate that when it's in their apologies too. It was like,
I'm sorry you feel
I
this way.
recognize now that my jokes were in poor taste. It's like, you're in poor taste, motherfucker. You are in poor taste. You know?
Okay, so
how about that?
I just want to get to this this last part. In the insurance company's lawsuit, they made a point, and this is just something that I'm presenting to you, everybody, so you guys can understand when everybody's saying that this is bullshit and that they're not, Blake Lively's behind it or whatever.
Yeah.
They have these rules. They say reporting a notice of circumstances under any liability coverage part. Okay, if during the policy period, the insureds first become aware of circumstances that may give rise to a claim, the insureds may elect to submit to the insurer a written notice of such circumstances, which must contain a description of the circumstances, the nature of the wrongful act, and the persons involved. And they have not done that. They have not done that. Wrongful act.
I think it's a slam dunk for them. I think this is going to be an easy win because they simply lied on their insurance form.
Yeah, so
They
anything that
fucking
could
lied
result in a claim is determined by them in their terminology a wrongful
Dude,
act.
that
But
means
they define it.
that means they put Sony in like if this is all true and this works out for the insurance company, they left Sony uninsured. They were uninsured. They had an uninsured production. Mm-hmm. Oh my God! So if that's true, they're getting off easy right now, compared to like say something like tragic like at Al Baldwin's movie happened, right? Like some horrible accident happens. You know what I mean? If you're not insured, and one thing they love to do, insurance companies, is find the fucking loopholes where you're screwing up, so that they can revoke your coverage.
Can I just say this one last thing?
Yeah, please.
Okay, so I wanted to.
I was hoping you were going to get around to it.
Well, listen, I just wanted to define what the insurance company thinks is a wrongful act that they should have let the insurance company know about.
Great.
This is all stuff that they had in advance too. Like the company's supposed to know this.
Well, it's their insurance company, so they're going to provide an insurance packet.
Yeah, like Wayfair is supposed to know how to protect themselves and stay insured.
And their policy,
it's amazing.
The thing is
millions and millions and millions of dollars at stake, and they don't know how to protect themselves.
Look, they didn't report, and I know you're going to get to this, but they didn't report this complaint to the insurance company because they don't fucking care.
No.
Because when the complaint came, they were like, whatever. Because everything is whatever to them.
Yeah.
They were just going through the motions. The insurance was a dot in the I and the crossing of the T. It wasn't something they actually thought they were going to ever use because they were impervious to trouble. They were the new bad boys in town. Everything was going to be great for them. Anyway, go ahead.
A wrongful act means any error, misstatement, misleading statement, neglect, breach of duty, omission or act committed, attempted or allegedly committed.
Yeah, that's what I'm
or
saying.
attempted by an insured person in his or her capacity as such, or an insured entity. Sorry,
here's the thing: all they have to prove is that she filed a complaint for sexual harassment. That's all they have to do. As soon as they prove that she's done that, then sexual harassment comes with that. Because sexual harassment is not like unless there's a witness that will say Blake Lively is definitively lying, and here I have some empirical proof.
Yes, but check this out. So in their own filing, right, in June of 2023, they said upon returning to production, Lively requested a meeting with Baldoni and the film's producers, where she said all of these things, and she complained about all of these things and brought it, and she tried to air it out. These are my grievances. I'm letting you guys know because I'm a professional employee, and I know you guys are professional employers, so you should know all about this.
Yeah, and I need this place to become non-toxic so I can work in it.
Every single thing that she's saying in here is a potential liability or a claim, right? She could make a claim about any of these things. It's just bonkers that they didn't take this seriously for their own company.
That's what I'm saying. They didn't take
it seriously for their insurance company is really weird.
We know about the offhand remark made by Jamie Heath right after the first complaint lodged against them because he hugged somebody allegedly on the set and said, "Oh, we shouldn't do that. We've already had our first HR complaint." He's literally mocking the fact that people are are identifying this place as either toxic or as inappropriate. The
thing that makes me a little bit crazy about this whole controversy is that a lot of people were like, okay, well, she had all of these return to work demands, right? She had these like, I won't return to work until you make these changes in the workplace that make it safe and make me feel like I'm being taken care of. Okay. Some people are saying that she shouldn't have returned to work. She should have just quit because they'd be better off without her. And if she had done that, that means that they would have lost everything without insurance because they would have already created a hostile work environment.
She would have screwed up her own career. I mean,
because she stayed, she now continued with this film, and now Baldoni's in this bad situation where he retaliated, and instead of doing any of the things the CRD is saying that an employer should do in these circumstances. What bugs me is that everybody keeps framing this as if it was a choice of Lively's. Nobody is framing it as if it's a choice of Baldoni's. He was the boss. He's the employer. Anything bad that happened on that set is his responsibility. I don't understand why she keeps getting scapegoated for everything.
It's the craziest thing.
Like that she was made to put together a document that was like, these are 17 points. I need these things to happen before I can come back on set. Why was she made to do that? Because he ignored her previous, like, hey bro, can we fix this? Like, hey bro, can you not? Like,
yeah, yes. There's nothing to add there.
He created that monster.
He created the whole thing. He created all of this from top to bottom. Like I said, about Jamie Heath blowing it off, right after they get the first complaint. If they take care of that complaint, if they handle that complaint, again, on the insurance side of things, if they actually were compliant with the insurance. First of all, the interesting thing about it is that if they had done that, if they had actually told the truth in their filing to whomever it was that
to the insurer
spoke to the insurance company, like corresponded with the insurance company, whomever did that, if the truth had been written down in that, and then the insurance company would have responded, and likely they would have said, we can't insure this for these particular reasons. And then they would have understood immediately the kind of trouble that they were really getting into.
Yeah. And then they would
not that they were necessarily in,
right,
but that they were getting into.
Right.
And that would have been the opportunity once again to take care of the problem. It's
really amazing how, like, you always said that as a producer, you're like, you had a mantra, motto, whatever. Always, like, kill the monster when it's little.
It's what I learned from Anthony Robbins. He literally...
And if they had done that... See, the reason why that's such great advice is because they swept one thing under the carpet and it turned into 500 problems. It's like, they didn't have a problem with just Blake Lively. They had a problem with Sony. They had a problem with their insurance company.
Yes.
They had a problem with Steve Sarowit's bank.
Yes.
Like, he's now on the hook for a whole lawsuit. Like, what, 5 lawsuits now? It's just, all of that could have been handled if they had just followed the CRD's very clear, very simple protocol about how to handle SH in the workplace.
And remember, this is their fifth lawsuit filed against them, and they formed in 2019, or was it 19?
It was 2020.
2020.
Yep.
So they've been around for 5 years.
5 lawsuits in 5 years.
5 times.
Yeah.
And yes,
that's not good.
3 of them are related to It Ends With Us, but all they had was a few projects. They only had, Man Enough Podcast lawsuit, ostensibly at least, because that's the this lawsuit. What was this guy's name again?
That is Shane Norman.
So this is Shane Norman's lawsuit. So this one, so this one was before, Blake Lively. So, if as an insurance company, you're sitting there going like, fuck these guys. Like, fuck these guys. How many times has Blake Lively been sued?
I don't know.
I don't think she's ever been sued till now.
Yeah.
And that lawsuit got kicked out.
That's true. Mandy said, I just think none of us will really know what went on in this case. I'm sure Dale, who has been a victim of big Hollywood, can attest to the fact that the real truth is always hidden.
Yeah, I wouldn't argue with that. I think that the hardest issue isn't, look, I mean, the real truth. I don't think the real truth is hidden here. I think the real truth is wide open in the great wide open.
I know.
I don't think there's a single hidden truth going on here at all. As a matter of fact, the truth is so in the wide open that Brian Friedman could only publish a website of purported facts that supported Blake Lively's story.
That's true.
That's how wide open this thing is.
I know all of his, every one of his like text and email evidence pieces. They're all just made her look like she's the only sane person in this whole business.
And look, I hate to labor the same point, but if you are the CEO of the company, if you're the owner of the company, if you're the fucking director of the movie, if you're the star of the movie, if you're the fucking executive producer of the movie, Justin Baldoni is all of those things. So the idea that somebody took all that power away from him is really weak stuff. Justin Baldoni and Jamie Heath owned Wayfarer.
I know. I love the basement story because it really is such a perfect like encapsulation of how he really wants everybody to believe that he's this like powerless little infant who's incapable of survival on his own, right? Like he just gets pushed around and taken advantage of, and he is not responsible for anything that happens to him. He's a director and a producer and a star, but he's also completely incapable of doing anything.
Yeah. Erica says, yeah, but Blake Lively is cringy, so he must be in the right.
Yeah.
And I love this point that you're making because, like, so our lawyers, when all this shit broke out for Don's Plum and the shit hit the fan, our lawyers were like, it doesn't fucking matter whether or not you guys have all the facts on your side. As soon as Jack Dawson takes the stand, we're finished. We're toast.
I think that those lawyers were playing you. They didn't want to go to trial. They wanted you to settle, so they're telling you that.
I think it's extremely difficult. I don't think you're right about that. I think what they said was, like, here's I mean, you're partially right in that they definitely didn't want, and the book clearly illustrates that they didn't want to go to trial because they didn't want the expense of going to trial. But if they thought they could slam dunk a fucking $50, $30 million, whatever judgment against Leonardo DiCaprio, they'd have done it, But they realized they couldn't.
Can I read you more comments from the chat?
Yeah, please.
King Gator is with us.
What's up, King Gator? I love that name, dude.
That's great. Said, I think that Wayfarer parties, I think that they believe their religion protects them from real world consequences. They were burning sage on set. That tells you everything about their relationship to reality.
You hear about those guys in San Diego that they believed that they were going to go to heaven, so they all committed mass unaliving, and they're remember that? What were they called? Remember that?
Oh, it was like
the bald guy with the big blue eyes.
What was that? It was a cult. What was it called?
Yeah.
Kingdom of Heaven. Wasn't
Kingdom
it?
of Heaven.
Oh, is that right?
I think you're right.
I don't know if I have that right.
It's close.
Okay.
But if it's wrong, it's a San Diego cult back in the 90s.
Yeah.
Not long after I moved to Los Angeles.
Those videos are eerie because he was like one of the first YouTubers.
It's still going. That cult is still going today.
Oh my God.
Yeah. Their website is up. They have a second.
This is true.
They're coming back for another round. They're coming to pick up another, like the bus went back, dropped everybody else off. They're coming back, fill up the bus again.
They keep predicting a new date for the end of the world, and then it passes and they're like, well, okay.
Heaven's Gate. Thank you.
Heaven's Gate. That's what it is. Yeah. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Mandy.
We're really bad at this, Dale.
No, we're good at it. I totally reject.
Okay, so
that.
you were saying you were bringing up Heaven's Gate because of Baldoni?
Yeah, well, somebody said that they
were burning sage on set.
They think that their religion, the Baha'i faith, protects them from consequences, and that's the kind of delusion that sends you to the afterlife. That's the kind of delusion. If you believe in these kinds of stupid things, this is the Christian Science, right? These are the people who don't allow medical intervention, right? Yeah. They pray over you. Like, you know what I mean? Like,
yeah, so
you're fucked, man.
So they know that,
that
Steve Sarowitz has developed another fund and production company that's specifically going to make Baha'i, like, faith-based videos and marketing materials. And so they think that that's just what he's going to put everything into. And that maybe Justin Baldoni will have some continuing work over there. But that Wayfarer will cease to exist because it's so toxic.
Fucking guy, bro. Justin Baldoni was the golden child, man. He was the golden child. He got everything. He got the whole world laid out before him, and he blew the whole thing. He was, by the way, and this is a part of why, and this is going into some of the content that I'm writing for us to hopefully shoot this week. Today's kind of the best I can do for audio, so we're going to check it out. But Justin Baldoni had the whole world laid out for him. He had everything that you could ever dream about having, and he squandered it. And it's an absolute, like, it's its own kind of tragedy. But where I was going was, it occurs to me that why Blake Lively is working so hard at this, why this is so important to her, is not because of just her own experience, but because of the overall. Justin Baldoni was about to rise to extreme power. If you team up with a studio and whack a $26 million budget into a $500 million box office, you become powerful in Hollywood. So if Justin Baldoni is the fraud that Blake Lively seems to think he is, and that the evidence suggests he could be, right? If he is that, imagine what happens when he gets emboldened by the kind of success
here's the thing
that
too,
he was about to have.
She must have realized this and been like, we cannot let this guy have a bigger career in Hollywood because he'll have more protection, and he's going to keep doing to other people what he did to me.
Protection, he will have the power.
That allegation that I can't remember exactly if it was, if people thought it was true. They thought it was a leaked HR complaint. But it was specifically about how Justin Baldoni was directing young Lily, the actress that played young Lily.
Yeah.
That he
through an O-phase.
Yes. Well, he was over her. Like, he was playing the scene partner that she was supposed to be with, right? So he's directing her, and he's playing the role of her scene partner. So Justin
Baldoni.
Yes. So he was between her legs and over her. And then, like, he would put his hand on her leg and, like, linger before he got up. Like, he would hold his hand on the side of her leg, you know, her bare leg.
I just fucking don't like this guy.
So it's just like, if you're somebody like Blake Lively, and you know what you went through, and that you see that it's happening to other people on the set, and that it's not just you that's being targeted by this person, and then you also recognize that if he succeeds with Sony, he's going to have more opportunities and ultimately higher stakes, which means more people are willing to protect an abuser, or at least keep silent about it because there's more money to be made. Then I feel like she would have felt really resolute about, like, we have to stop him now before he gets bigger. Because this
is what I think.
Because that was the promise of the Me Too movement, that people were going to see misconduct at the workplace and say something so that the person who is responsible for that misconduct doesn't get to continue to make victims.
I truly feel that this is a very real possibility about what this is all about, because I know this from my own experience in Hollywood, that had Justin Baldoni not been corrected in this situation, had this not come to this, and Wayfarer was ultimately crowned for the success of It Ends With Us, Justin Baldoni would have become one of the top, like, Jason Blum level producers at the studio level instantly. $500 million from 26 million.
Because he's got a billionaire in his pocket who says yes to everything.
No, not at all. He has better than a billionaire in his pocket after that.
Oh, I see. Yeah, I see.
That's my whole point. I'm saying all he had going up to that was a billionaire in his pocket. And with the billionaire in his pocket, he got the doors open. He got the opportunity to make this happen. But it wasn't until he either made it happen or flubbed it like he did that his future was going to be determined. Because unlike Sarowitz, he would have had Sony in his pocket. Jason Blum of Blumhouse, we all know who he is. He leveraged his entire career by getting one fucking studio, to believe in his work. And he was financing sub $5 million movies, right? Oftentimes $1 million or less, and flipping them into theatrical hits that could reach, 8 to 9 figures, depending on,
amazing.
Right?
Yeah.
That's where Baldoni was. Jason Blum is inarguably one of the most powerful producers in Hollywood today. He cannot be fucked with. His path was almost exactly the same as what Baldoni's path was, except that Baldoni was about to make a bigger splash than Jason Blum did, because not only was Baldoni about to graduate from a $26 million budget into a near $500 million box office, but he was doing that on the heels of taking another low budget situation and turning it into a $100 million box office. So this kid was going to look like a wonder boy at the end of this thing. A motherfucking wonder boy. And a wonder boy in Hollywood, if they're corrupt, the amount of damage that they will cause before they're brought down is immeasurable.
Because people protect the wrongdoers
and
among
because
them.
the damage that they
too
create
much money
trickles down. Sorry to talk over you. I'm very excited.
No, that's a really good point. That's a really good point. There's also, I don't know.
Just taking this guy and rising him to these heights and not correcting this problem. I do think that, look, I know people say she's cringe. I know people say, and look, I'm not gonna sugarcoat any of the stuff I saw. When I hear her talking about authorship of the fucking material, it gets on my nerves. I feel like it's degrading to the writer. I feel like it's degrading to everybody else. I don't think it's intentional. It's just her way of speaking. It's her manner of speech. It's her manner of thinking. She's very proud and excited to get behind the camera. Was very proud and excited to get behind the camera. Really wanted to expand how people see her in the world.
Oh my God! But also, like,
it's so annoying because
I should just say, like,
just shut up and be it.
Authorship is like the perfect tag word for her astrology because she is a Leo rising with her sun in her second house Virgo.
Right.
That's what she wants. She wants
the recognition, but she also wants the authorship. She wants that possession.
She wants to be recognized for her skills.
Yeah.
She wants to be able to have creative input. And she also feels like she does best when she can shine a light on her own work and others around.
I describe it a little bit in my scene, in the scene I wrote between Meadow and I outside of Jerry's Deli, where I am able to sort of finagle the conversation around understanding that what she's talking about is a longing for creation, for being the creator, for being a creator, for achieving a high level of creation. It is everything that we ache for in that town. And when actors achieve it as actors, they want the next level. It's like, gateway drug, right? It's the gateway drug. And that next level is going to be the writing, the directing, or the producing level.
Yeah.
And in fact, the producing level is meh compared to the writing level. It's not even close. When you've written something that affects people and that is successful in that way, it's one of the most elevating things I've ever experienced. To have somebody show up here in the middle of my life, especially on a bad day where I'm just like a little in the dumps emotionally, and to tell me about how much they've enjoyed my work.
Yeah.
It's the most uplifting thing you can experience, and it's junk to those in the business. It's junk, bro. So Blake Lively in her situation is just looking for that. So when she's sitting there talking about this, she just wants to be recognized for the work she did. And it sucks because it diminishes the work she did.
Well, because she's a really smart person. And I feel like being like a beautiful blonde actor makes it so that her whole career, she's probably not been treated like a very smart person. She's been treated as a person who plays a role as like the romantic lead or whatever. I don't know.
Yeah, and she can put her foot in
ditzy teenager or what. I'm not sure what role she's been taking, but
whatever it may be, she can put her mouth.
But being recognized for her creative input and her smarts is very valuable to her. Yeah. And I feel like that's super relatable. I don't see that that's actually a problem. There was a person online today was having a little hissy fit about her wanting to climb the ladder, right?
Yeah.
That she has expressed her ambition, but of course they didn't frame it that way. Like that's literally what they're talking about, is that she had ambition and that she wanted to climb the ranks, build experience, make some connections with people, improve her status in her workplace. That's all they were talking about. But when they said it about Blake Lively, it was bad.
I know I've gone on about this before in this live. I have no problem going on about it again. It drives me fucking crazy because every dude in that situation would be praised for that.
Yeah, or like in any other workplace. Any other worker in any other workplace would be like, "Oh, you own this company now and you started as the janitor? That is so impressive."
I can talk about
this is literally the same story.
I can name actors who were producers, men, going all the way back to fucking One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest, and Michael Douglas, who produced that movie as was an actor turned producer. It's so prevalent in with men, and it's just something is much rarer with women because it's a male dominated fucking industry. And they don't want to give it up to anybody. I'm
just stunned that in these United States of America, where like our biggest cultural export is like individualism and like perseverance and bravery, that like her ambition is being like treated like it's some sort of flaw. It's crazy. Like
Erica's got a nice spicy tone. Ambition is praised in men, but discouraged in women. She needs to understand her role and not deviate from it.
Yeah, Exactly. That's what I'm hearing from people. That's actually how they sound.
It really truly does. It drives me crazy. It makes me upset for everyone, but especially for women. But it makes me upset for everyone because the whole world suffers here. Like everybody suffers when we don't have the equality that we deserve, and we deserve that as people. Like, what drives me crazy about all this fucking shit is the contributions that are lost.
Oh yeah.
The great films not made, the great books not written, the great stories not told because men had to keep, and it's not just men trying to keep women down, because although women are certainly one of the more, victimized demographics in the supremacy of these so-called fucking executives and studio heads in Hollywood. But it's other artists too. It's whomever they choose. They'll take a brilliant script. They'll fucking read this brilliant script and they'll be like, this guy's brilliant, but I don't like him. And they'll toss it, bro. They'll put that script in hell. They'll get it. They'll shelve it, right? Catch and kill it. And then they'll kill the career.
Well, you remind me, was it Guillermo del Toro that spoke out because he had heard some negativity about an actress from Harvey Weinstein?
I don't recall.
He started to, I think it was Guillermo del Toro, but he was saying that he was talking to Harvey Weinstein about casting this new project of his. And then he was like, well, what do you think about this actress? Maybe it's fine that I don't remember her name because I'm sure she doesn't want to get brought up in the story like again and again and again in her life. But he said that Harvey Weinstein was like, oh, she's really difficult to work with. You don't want to work with her. But it came out later that the only reason why he was bad-mouthing her was because she rejected him, his, harassment.
Right.
And Guillermo del Toro he made a statement where he was like, I'm just haunted by that. I'm haunted by the fact that I just believed what he said about how she's difficult to work with. Like, that's not the most impossible thing to believe. Yeah, you're right. I think
it was Guillermo, yeah.
But this happens all the time. And if you think about any...
Kevin Connolly admits to it. In his deposition, he admits to it. He admits to literally telling people, it's them or us.
Oh yeah, no, he does make ultimatums of all of your friends. And
it's ultimately the same thing.
Yeah.
It's this idea that you can just destroy people or remove them or suppress them or whatever over whatever, issues you may have with them.
But like there's this really
otherwise.
depressing reality that shows up every time somebody like posts a picture of like a really gorgeous young actress in Hollywood from the 90s, right?
Yeah.
And they'll be like, whatever happened to her? She was really talented and she just seemed like she was in everything and her star was rising. And then she completely disappeared. And the answer invariably is that she was run out of town because she rejected harassment from Harvey fucking Weinstein.
It's so crazy.
And that she decided that she needed to do some self-preservation of her life and leave Hollywood instead of continuing to try to grind against this impossible force.
Cosmic Urgency saying that it was Terry Zwigoff. You know who that is? Director Terry Zwigoff?
I recognize the name. Yeah.
Who wanted to cast Mira Sorvino in Bad Santa. And I think I heard this.
I don't think I'm confusing them. I think this is a different story.
Okay. It might be.
Because I think I would have... I remember hearing about the director and knowing who it was. And I don't have a familiarity with this guy. So Mira Sorvino got it too?
I do remember this with Mira Sorvino.
Harvey Weinstein badmouthed her and kept her from getting a role.
There was an issue with getting her. It's so weird because as soon as I see her or as soon as I hear her name, I always go back to this party I was at in LA with her and she was with Tarantino.
Oh yeah, I remember that in the tabloids.
Oh, is that true? Because it just comes back to me like I'm just like I just remember I'm like as soon as I see her I'm like I'm seeing her and like I'm standing next to we're in these two different pods and we're next to the Tarantino pod. And there's like us five and then Tarantino, Mira Sorvino, and like I don't know who it was. I think it was like Matt Damon or like somebody else or whatever.
Yeah, that's really interesting because that's like a timestamp on that memory because you can look up in the tabloids and you can look up online and you can see the paparazzi photos of them together.
And she got shut the fuck down, that girl, man. Her career got shut down.
Dude, it happened to so many of them. Like so many of these wonderful actresses that were doing, they were doing amazing in the 90s and then they completely disappeared. It's not like they went to commercials, right? It's not like they went to like TV or whatever, which wasn't in the 90s what it is now.
Isn't
like
it
TV
weird how people just disappear? Like they just disappear.
It wasn't weird. I'm saying like it's very, very reasonable.
I'm just saying it is weird. Like, like I remember when Gene Hackman just stopped.
Oh yeah, well he retired.
I know, but it's just like, what's amazing is that before he stopped, because they have publicists, like, people, it's truly a publicist driven world. Like, they turn it off like a tap.
That's right.
It's just like Gene Hackman just got turned off. And then all I heard were voiceovers for like 10
I think
more
it's
years.
the agents, right? Didn't Leo like yelled at you during the bashing that his agents run this town and they decide who gets into the festivals and they run they decide everything.
And that's a fact.
You know, it's not a coincidence that every time you watch an award show, they're all thanking the same agencies.
CAA, William Morris Endeavor.
It's not like there aren't good actors, qualified actors in these other places. They just don't get nominated.
That's why it was such a big deal that Artie got picked up at CAA. I mean,
yeah.
it was like a ticket. It was like a you got invited into the club.
Hey, I want to know what you think is the solution to this problem of like, it's like a power magnet, right? Like, there's a super concentration of power in these few jobs in Hollywood where they decide everything.
Yeah.
What's the solution for that? Because it's not like you can have like no agencies anymore.
I don't know. It's a really difficult problem. It's always going to be driven by relationships. It's always going to be driven by people in powerful places. And, you know, whether they're called agents or they're going to be called whatever, or some kind of liaison. Because you're right. There's no access until there's some kind of middleman who's directing or also aggregating.
But you see, this brings me back to Justin Baldoni. You can see how he was being protected already. And he's like a small fry. He's a small fry when he's making It Ends With Us. So he's being protected by Jamie Heath. He's being protected by Steve Sarowitz. He's being protected by Melissa Nathan and Jennifer Abel. He's being protected by like this whole ecosystem that he's built around. They all want him to succeed and remain doing the work that makes them money, right? Like Melissa Nathan says, oh, you need to lawyer up and start fighting Blake Lively's, you know, whatever issues at the time where she said that.
Yeah.
It was as a
her advice was, don't sign this document that gets you out of all this trouble with minor scrapes and bruises.
Yeah. So here's the thing: is that
all repairable. It was a completely repairable situation, and he got to save face and plug his brand.
Well, so here's the thing:
it was just insanity.
Is that she has a vested interest in that outcome, because if he fights, if he goes into a lawsuit, if he fights, she gets paid. If he does a smear campaign, Melissa Nathan is the one who benefits from that. So of course he shouldn't have been taking her advice, because he should have recognized that she of course she wants one outcome, not the one where everybody makes peace, right?
Right.
And she doesn't have much of a job to do. But it's just like this thing that happens if somebody's wrongdoing, everybody, they're all like parasites on a host, you know? The host cannot go down, because then the parasites won't eat anymore. Like if the host is strong, even if he's an abuser, then everybody else continues to get paid. They get to continue to feed off the host. And so I think that's the sort of ecosystem that Justin Baldoni was creating around himself. And we can see that with the controversy that happened after It Ends With Us. Everybody was supporting him regardless of whether it was right or wrong. They just wanted to keep the host healthy.
You stirred up Mandy. She said, Angela, exactly. He was a small fry. Would he really fuck up that opportunity of a lifetime? And let me just explain something about where he might have been psychologically. When you're in Hollywood, first of all, he had these wild successes. So he already had a certain amount of inflated ego going in. To what extent that is, whatever else, and whether it's detrimental, I'm not commenting on. But I will say that when you do things like have a successful series where you build a very large following, and parlay that into a 50 million viewed TED Talk that lands into a best-selling book about ending male toxic
masculinity.
Thank you, toxic masculinity.
And then a podcast.
That blows up with one of the best and attracts one of the biggest experts, psychological experts in this whole dynamic of the inequality of men versus women, right? And what's her name? I don't know her name, but she was huge.
Oh no, a bunch of people. They were all had a panel and everything.
The biggest one. The one that left at the end.
She's not the biggest one, but that's
she's the biggest one to me.
You're thinking Liz Plank.
Liz Plank's a big fucking name.
Yeah, but he also had other like men in the space that are like they like talk to the military and they have like contracts at universities and stuff.
So then you do that. Then you have 5 Feet Apart, which again a very low budget project ends up bringing in a fucking $100 million.
And that's CBS Studios.
And that's CBS Studios. And by the way, as this is all happening, there are these disputes that are coming up within his company, right? He gets sued for discrimination and retaliation, but he's able to kibosh that. He gets sued for stealing 5 feet apart from another person with cerebral palsy and
cystic fibrosis.
Cystic fibrosis. My apologies to all people who suffer from those diseases. I don't mean to confuse them. But he escapes liability because he's able to kibosh that with the strength and power of that. So he's got this side. This is where I'm all leading to. It's kind of important and a big question, Mandy, or a big statement that you're making, because he has all this building his ego. That's a big deal in Hollywood, bro, because you got swagger when you're walking around with those kinds of successes. But then on top of it, he has a billionaire in his back pocket.
And on top of that, he keeps getting sued, and it doesn't affect him.
Well, I just said that. He's been kiboshing his lawsuits.
Yeah.
And getting the hubris. So now Steve Sarowitz, he's got a billionaire. Well, let me tell you about what a billionaire means in Hollywood. Everything. It means everything. The doors fly open, but here's the thing. You're still who you are, meaning like if you're not like a real experienced filmmaker, a giant producer, if you haven't had all these successes, Justin Baldoni was having good successes, but they were still only a couple, comparatively, right? But because he had a billionaire in his pocket, they're going to treat you like you're a studio head.
It's
so
true.
When you think that, and I know this to be true because I can tell you, I've lived it in the business. So when you think, Mandy, that he was such a small fry, I don't think he thought himself as a small fry at all. The dude was playing at the highest level. He had a billionaire in his pocket. He crushed all of his projects before that. He was able to kibosh anybody who came up against him. And on top of that, he had the favor of Colleen Hoover. And he had one of the biggest box office female attractions in the business in Blake Lively, starring in his movie. He was going to direct. He was going to star. He was the executive producer. Dude, this kid was not a small fry in his brain.
Also, that IP was never going to lose, too. Colleen Hoover had so much of a huge fan base based on of that book,
I mean, you can't say that in Hollywood. Stephen King can attest to this. You can lose. You can lose, but it's like...
I thought it was just really a smart move of him to go and get that property.
Brilliant.
Yeah.
Brilliant move. Just by the way, to attest to what I'm saying about him, that was a hotly contested IP. Like, rest assured, everybody was trying to get that IP off of Colleen Hoover, right? It was a massive big seller, and she was holding on to those rights to look for the right match. And that goes to show you the power of a billionaire behind you, because someone like me, even if I had some successes that would appeal to Colleen Hoover, I'm not going to have that kind of swagger unless I got the billionaire behind me, the guy who can finance it. Because it's one thing to have the talent, it's one thing to even have the vision, another thing to have the vision. But when you have the money, you have everything. As soon as, and that's what makes so. It just goes to show you, like, this guy who's relatively new on the block, relative to studios, right, and guys like Blumhouse or these other massive producers, was still able to land a massive property, and that's because of the power that he did have. Even if it was, and what you are sensing that's correct, Mandy, is that his power was superficial. It was all based on the idea that he had this backing and these successes, but it was as fragile as
that was true.
Any new career.
If he decided if like something happened and they broke up and he decided to go solo, he wouldn't have been able to like make a movie with Sony, right?
No. If he tried to get off of the Sarowitz teat?
Yeah.
No, he's without a billionaire, he's just a good-looking actor who might be on somebody else's shortlist. If he's a producer, then he's going to have to be more aggressive in getting his attachments. So the way it works is like, as a producer, when he has a billionaire, he has all the control and the money because he has the money. If you don't have the control and the money and you have the property, or you're lucky enough to land a property like that, then the next thing you're going to need is the attachment, the big attachment, because you're going to need whatever magnet is necessary to be able to get the kind of money you need to produce the movie, right? I have a friend of mine, for example, that I've been having a conversation with, and he's trying to get like $10 million to make a movie. And I'm like, you need a movie star. And he's like, no, I don't think I do. And in my mind, I'm like, I don't know how you're going to pull that off. Because I know historically that money that gets invested into films is invested through a series of mitigations. And the biggest one is attaching box office attractive talent. I mean, it goes without saying.
Yeah, of course. Leo Edis wants to know, did you ever meet Tarantino and was he kind?
I met Tarantino once. He was kind. I also heard that he, I don't know if this is true, this is a rumor, but I heard that he had a screen of Don's Plum up in his house in the hills back in the day.
Did you hear that from somebody who said they attended?
I heard from somebody who said they knew somebody who attended.
That's neat.
Don't know if it's true.
Maybe he's a fan.
I've thought about it, though, a couple times. Been like, yeah, Tarantino's a fan. He watches my shit. He's probably going to read my book. Then he's going to be like, damn, I wish I could write dialogue as good as Dale. Do you think I write dialogue as good as Quentin Tarantino?
I think you write dialogue a lot better than Quentin Tarantino.
What?
All of his characters talk the same.
Yeah, but his dialogue's pretty good.
His dialogue's very good.
Yeah.
It's very entertaining.
Whoa.
But it's a bunch of really great actors trying their own spin on the same character's dialogue. The whole time. Every character talks the same in his movies.
I'm pretty sure everybody has seen, Mandy's going, oh my God, he has your movie in his house. I'm pretty sure everybody in Hollywood has seen our movie. Like DiCaprio's in it. I'm pretty sure all the bigs have seen it.
Yeah, they also will think nothing of watching everything DiCaprio's ever done if they're about to work with him. Like Tarantino obviously Tarantino wanted to work with the guy once or twice in his life.
Like movie fiends watch movies.
Yeah, that's right.
Our movie has definite cult status in Hollywood. So.
So it's after 9. Do you want to keep going? Should I keep talking to people in the chat, or are you feeling a little?
Let's finish our chat, and then we'll go have some lychees.
So Mandy said the sports bar footage. Did you think that confirmed Blake Lively's claims?
Well, I'm going to do a full breakdown of it with Angela this week, and then we're going to publish it on the channel. The answer is yes. Here's the thing, man. The episode's called A Horny Growl because there's a moment where he growls at her in a way that is entirely intimate, has nothing to do with being in character. He was only a moment earlier completely out of character. If he
isn't in character the entire time.
Yes.
The only time that people are saying he's in character is to excuse him doing a horny growl, saying, "Oh, well, Ryle would do that." But he doesn't utter a single other word in character the whole time.
That moment, that horny growl moment, is a moment that can be offensive. And by the way, the thing about people made a big deal about how she might have not gotten all of her facts exactly in order or straight as they related to that slow dance, right? In terms of what was said and exchanged and how it was exchanged, so on and so forth. And something about before everything was recorded in life, there's a legal term called sum and substance. I talk about it in the preface of my book. But a sum and substance is to give you is to allow us to be able to describe events that have happened in our past, and where we can do with to the best of our ability and to the best of our memory, reconstruct what happened. But the idea is that we're giving the sum and substance of what happened. In other words, it doesn't have to be exact for it to be valid and true, right? So if she made some claims about the slow dance, and that in those claims they didn't translate exactly word for word the way she had remembered them in her claims, not watching the footage or having the footage in front of her, it's still, in sum and substance, what happened to her. So when you take things like the horny growl and other moments, like talking about her husband, right, and their relationship and their I can't remember the specific context, but it was intimate.
Don't forget, she says he's close to her. She keeps trying to make distance. Okay, she's like, what if we talk to each other? What if we're talking instead of like you rubbing your face all over me?
Yeah.
She says, I'm going to get spray tan on you.
Yeah.
People have been conflating what happens in that scene. I've watched it a few times in preparation for this video we're going to do. It's very clear. She says, I'm going to get spray tan on you. He says, don't worry, it smells good. So he begins to talk about the smell, how she smells. He's smelling her. Which wouldn't be offensive, except that her saying, I'm going to get spray tan on you, I don't know. Maybe I'm biased, but as a woman, I feel like I have experienced this thing where you have to manage a man's emotions when you're rejecting them. And she throughout that whole video, that dance scene video, she persists in trying to make space with him. So when she says, I'm going to get spray tan on you, what she's saying is, you might not want to rub against me because it might get on you. I'm trying to come up with a way for you to suffer some consequence of rubbing on me because my simple discomfort isn't enough for you. Like, maybe you should back off is what that's saying.
Well, where I was going is that it's
so frustrating.
It's it's the preponderance of all of it, right? Like you have all of these things happening to create a specific environment and feeling. So you have, five or six little things. It could be the horny growl, the conversation about my husband, and how I stare into her eye, my wife's eyes, until it's an uncomfortable psychotic moment. All these different like things, they add up to this discomfort, which is a constitutional basis, or at least as it relates to the CRD and their guidelines, right, for a complaint. Right? That's it. That's all it has to be. You see, it just has to be enough. Like that horny growl, like once I heard it, I didn't hear it the first time I did an analysis. So I'm excited to do this new analysis just for that alone. But the first time I heard it,
because he does it right in her face.
I couldn't get it out of my head.
Yeah.
It bothered me because
there's no reason for
every single man knows what that is. If every woman does and every man does. And I think every human does. Everybody knows that. That's like a universal.
I know. So he spins her. He's looking at her, right? He pulls her close, and then right when their faces are so super close, he growls to her.
He growls in that like under the sheets way.
Oh my god, it's true.
It's gnarly. It's fucking
horrible.
gnarly. And there's nothing about it that I believe is that you can assign ownership to Ryle or whatever his name is.
Yeah, Ryle.
Right? Like that was Justin motherfucking Baldoni. And at the end of that scene, of that slow dance scene that they published for us to see, when it's finally over, what does he admit? The first thing that he admits at the cut is that we did too much. It's the first thing he admits. He says, this scene is only going to be a couple of seconds long in the movie. We probably don't need all of that, I think, is somewhere around the construction of the sentence that he used. The structure of the sentence or the phrase. We don't really need all of that. Why did he put it through it? Because the whole time, his hands are all up in her, his face are all up in that neck. He's horny growling into it.
Also, I'm not really sure I understand why his face buried in her neck in a sports bar in slow motion is usable at all. I don't know. We should watch the movie.
It fucking wasn't. I mean, I can assure you that little horny growl wasn't.
She must have noticed, just been like, why are we doing this? What did
make the hit, though, was the thumb in the mouth, which is disgusting.
We're going to have to watch this.
I just did that to my own self, and I washed my hands before I got here, and my lip is all salty. Like, I don't want somebody else's salt on my lips.
Sports bar hands in your mouth.
Oh, dude. It just grosses me out to this very second. I can't. Okay. Dude, I go to sports bars, and all you have to do is go to the bathroom once to know how disgusting that whole concept was, and I don't care how many. As soon as you wash your hands in a sports bar, they're fucking dirty. As soon as you turn off the water, it's a wrap. Your hands are back in the mud.
Mandy said, I've been a fan of Colleen Hoover since I was a kid. I feel bad for her. She never wanted any of this.
Or deserved it. And I do feel bad for her as well because her movie was a hit. So she gets this hit book, she gets this hit movie, and basically she had her own, her own, what do you call it, fallout or whatever with her fans.
What is this about? There's something about like she's like navigating like the weirdest witch's curse.
I know.
She experiences immense success, but there's like an asterisk. Always like, it's like everything that she does is immensely successful, but there's some sort of conflict involved. So when her book was published, it had like this, the publisher marketing had got really bad, they called it tone deaf, and it was like a bunch of blowback about the business.
Coloring book. Yeah.
Yes. And so she had to apologize for that. Colleen Hoover had to apologize for it. And she was like, yeah, it's really successful, but like I'm in trouble. And then this too, like the same book gets optioned, and yeah, it's really successful, but everybody's in trouble. So what is this about her career, this poor woman,
I suspect that she's going to come back around. Because and if not, she'll write under pseudonyms because she's obviously extremely talented. She's putting it out, and she's got the money, bro. The chick has printed the money. So when we first began doing these lives on TikTok a year ago, I guess it is now. Jesus, it's not a year ago. It was December. But when we first started, we had gotten a little bit popular because I didn't know this, but I did a video breaking down that slow dance. And it had turned out that that video I learned from an influencer of some reputation, of some repute. He said that that my video and my breakdown was kind of he made it out to be legendary among the Blake Lively supporters, I guess, and just the people who were where was I going with that?
It's going to be bigger and better than ever.
Yeah, the new one's going to be fucking sweet.
Yeah, because we learned a lot since then. We also have a better video.
I was answering a specific question.
Hey, this is really funny. Mandy said, you were at a party with Tarantino? This is all caps.
More than one.
And she goes, what the hell, Yonsei? That's such a funny thing to write. Oh, my God.
I was at a couple parties with Tarantino. Dude, I've been at some parties, bro. I didn't put any of that shit in the book.
Yeah, because you didn't want to get sued by more celebrities.
No, it's because that's not what the book was for. The book was to tell the story about me and Leo and Toby. And look, it's like if Leo sues me, and he might, it's going to be a pretty good time because like I left out so much more embarrassing shit from him, but because it wasn't relevant, like I wasn't writing a book to embarrass him. The reason why peroxide is in the book, the reason why the almond milk incident is in the book, the reason why even the Speedo bean splitting party is in the book is because they're all relevant. These things are all very relevant to my story.
Also, one of the criteria for keeping things in the book too was, with exception of the one time that you were alone with Toby and he interrogates you for the entire evening.
Yeah.
Every other scene where there was no expectation of privacy. So anytime that you're saying embarrassing things about these people, there was a crowd of people around.
Yeah.
So any one of the people in the room could have told that story.
CC's with us on TikTok and says that that whole switching topics to the slow dance wasn't a part of the script. Like all these extracurricular activities in the script. And you know what's interesting about that is like, so there's a certain amount of room, a leeway, you call it like some space, some buffer room when you're acting. There has to be, right? Where you've got room to move around and create. Right. And,
you try stuff.
And create the moment and deal with whatever energy is there and so on and so forth. What's interesting about that is that there's, the more respectful you are and the more that there is a mutual respect between not just the actors, but just all the creators that are on the set and even ones that aren't on the set, like the writers or editors. When you have this, like when there's this like mutual respect for each other, that's relatively unwavering or strong, at least. These kinds of things are more easily forgiven. These kinds of like,
yes, of course,
where you're stretching the boundaries a little bit, where you're like, because, and it's not just like, character, actors being in character and these kinds of things. It's really relational. It's about relationship. It's about energy. It's about what you're putting in. So if you're in a situation or you're in a scene with somebody or if you're in a deprived, stressed out, toxic situation, if you're in that situation, you're not going to have that latitude with your coworkers. It's just like anything else, So it's interesting because she was working in a strained environment, and so when you bring up CC the topic that hey, that wasn't in the script, some people want to make small of that, but it's actually made bigger when you have a deeper and wider separation, creatively, morally, idealistically, between you and your co-star or your boss.
It should be pointed out. So the script says that they're slow dancing in a bar. They're lost in their own world. That's as descriptive as it gets. So she is slow dancing with her co-star.
Yeah. He
is trying to kiss his co-star.
Right.
Right. She can 3 different times. I could probably count more, but at least by memory, I know I noticed 3 different times where she was like,
at least 3.
She was like, "Hey, we should just talk.
Hold it back."
She was like trying to make space from him.
Yeah.
And he was like, yeah, you're right. And then he would move in to try and kiss her again.
That's when he had
and
that
she was
laugh like that.
And she was like, don't give them kisses. Make them want kisses. Make them want the two, this couple they want them to be together, but don't give it to them. You have to resist or whatever. every single time that she would make a comment like that, where she was like, hey, I'm telling you, my director, what I'm comfortable with and what I think should happen, he would just be like, yeah, you're right. That's a good point. And then he would move in for another kiss or another nuzzle or another whatever.
Yeah.
And it just repeatedly happened. And it just made me so uncomfortable, because even if you're in agreement that you're like, yes, me and this strange man, we're both married to other people and not romantically interested in each other. We have agreed we're going to do a slow dance in a bar and get and be lost in our own world. If you're repeatedly saying, hey, let's change it up and do this instead of what you're doing, and the other guy's ignoring you, that's hostility. Like, there's no other way to read that.
No.
She's repeatedly telling him not to do a thing or to do a different thing, and he's agreeing and then ignoring. That's, you know, you don't get away with that, bro.
It's bad news.
Yeah. Erica said, a family business, I guess they're in a family business, said, I called my own brother out on jokes he was making that could be taken in the wrong way. I knew he meant what he meant, but it exposed us to liability. Her brother, simply changed his behavior and we had no problems.
See? It's that simple. This is what drives me crazy about the whole thing, is that they were fucking up early in the production, and all they had to do was right the ship and everything would have been fantastic. And not only that, but they also were given other opportunities to once again get it straight. They were given the opportunity at the 17-point signature, but even prior, and then after that, she gave the best out that he had, which was that letter that was clearly a draft that they would have been able to contribute to in the finalization of, wherein they take responsibility, Wayfarer, for running a loose ship, and the letter was perfectly forgiving of them and their inexperience. Literally, the letter was like, well, not literally, but ostensibly the letter was saying, hey, we're relatively new to this. We're not exactly sure when we are screwing up, but we know that we did screw up, and we just have to learn to be better. And a part of learning to be better is owning our mistakes, and that's what we're here to do because we're man enough.
Right.
Perfect situation, dude. He gets to reinforce his brand. He gets to take it on the chin, but take it on the chin gracefully. He gets out of it completely with Blake Lively. She's now in a situation where she's kind of got to be like, okay, we're back, we're chummy, in terms of at least the public facing of their relationship in that movie. It was all there for him. He had it all laid out for him. All he had to do was just fucking sign off, be cool, get out of his own goddamn way.
Everyone would have forgotten about it.
And that's why it's important to remember that. And by the way, I think another thing that's important to remember about this slow dancing scene is that, we're having our opinions, but remember the opinions of the publicists. They spoke about it.
Yeah, they
called it cringe.
Oh, here's another thing too. Mandy is saying that in the book, in that scene, that Justin Baldoni did absolutely everything that Ryle did in the book. And this is like a really interesting argument, because he has direction that for some reason nobody has been able to figure out. He is withholding from Blake Lively.
Yeah.
So sure, you could say like maybe Blake Lively should have read the book and should know what's going on in the scene.
That's not true.
But that's not her responsibility. The director is supposed to tell her what's expected of her and what's expected to put on film.
I want to be clear about this. That is not fucking true. And I'm not being angry at you, by the way.
No,
but let me finish.
I understand. I'm just saying, like, in the context of this, if he's behaving exactly like Ryle did in the book, how come he's not telling her this is exactly how Ryle behaved in the book and this is exactly how Lily's supposed to behave? Why are we having a conflict in this scene? It's right here on the page.
I know Ryle didn't talk about.
He's capable of opening up the book and being like, look at the page, Lively. This is what we're doing in this scene. So she doesn't have to be like, like, what's happening? Let's do something different.
I know Ryle didn't talk about Blake Lively's relationship with her husband in the book. I know that. You see what I'm saying? Like, it's not all fucking black and white in that situation. And is it possible? I'm just saying, is it possible that Ryle and and Justin Baldoni are similar human beings? Do they have similar tendencies? I wonder. But listen, it doesn't fucking matter. And I want to set the record clear about this, because it gets on my nerves when people think that she should have read the book. And I'm not saying that you're on my nerves by any means, but at no point in time.
Hey, back off, bro.
At no point in time should she have read the book if she doesn't want to, and many actors don't. Part of the reason is because it's an adaptation. Remember something. Blake Lively is playing a very different Lily Bloom
Yep.
than the one that's in the book. She's playing an older Lily Bloom.
She's not 23 years old.
She's not 23 years old. She's not going to have the same naivete. She's not going to have all the same problems that a Lily Bloom at 23 years old would have, because there's going to be a maturity factor in there. Sometimes actors don't read underlying material because they have to make their choices based on the screenplay that's been written.
This
the
is a really good
screenplay
point.
that is going to be shot.
This is a super good point, because
And it's not a fucking deficiency or some kind of, problem with them or them being fucking lazy. They love this shit. They love reading, they love writing, they love acting, they love directing, they love producing. The idea that Blake Lively was trying to get out of reading a book, this isn't fucking high school. This isn't an assignment. She's being paid millions of dollars. If she didn't read the book, it was probably because she didn't want to confuse Lily Bloom, the one she's creating from the screenplay, versus Lily Bloom, the one that is 23 years old, almost, or more than 10 years younger than her Lily Bloom. So she was relying on the adaptation.
I remember really recently that, do you remember in The Witcher, Henry Cavill actually got in a lot of trouble because he was relying on source material rather than the adaptation of the source material?
Well, and he was very frustrated because he got on the project because of his love for the source material,
right.
And the adaptation was such a generic, whitewashed version of Witcher that he tried to enforce bringing in these elements of these more darker elements from the underlying material, the intellectual property.
So it just makes a ton of sense that an actor would be like, listen, I'm working for this production that has chosen this adaptation.
Exactly. It happens
The
all the time.
director is working off of this screenplay. They're not working off of the book unless they expressly tell me that they're working from the book.
I'm literally not making it up. That's from actors' fucking lips to my ears, man. I'm not going to read the underlying material and start confusing the character that I'm building off of the page that's in the screenplay. And it makes perfect sense to me in that way.
I just think Henry Cavill is a really great example of that, because in Witcher, I think
it is a good example too.
I thought he was being awesome for trying to stay true to the material, but it wasn't up to him, and he got in trouble for it, and they fired him.
Yep. And they fired him. And look, maybe you can argue who's right or who's wrong in that situation. It doesn't matter. The point being is that the underlying material and the screenplay are different animals, and that becomes more particular when you're dealing with things like huge age disparities in the original character versus the character that's on the screen, for example. So it's just it's not such a big deal to not read the book. It's just not such a big deal to not know what's in the book, and to rely on the screenplay, on the shooting script.
Dale, I regret to inform you
that
we are going to have to watch It Ends With Us.
That was not a horny growl.
That was a despondent one.
Yeah.
And we're going to have to read the book.
I might read. I'm kind of into the book. I was
really
raised in
good.
DV, although my mom was untouched. It was
The
only
audiobook is really good. There's a lot of, I can understand why she's a controversial writer. She writes really, really well, but she makes choices I would never make. And if you made those choices, I would be like, we are editing.
Guys, our file is going to be 1,000 feet long.
Are we leaving?
We should leave. We have such a you're going to be on this file until
okay.
Yeah.
I had fun today.
I had so much fun tonight. Thank you so much for joining us as always. Thank you for liking and for subscribing. If you haven't, please do those things before you leave. And I do hope that you'll come back and join us again tomorrow. I just love hanging out with you guys. I was having a really bummed out emotional day.
Yeah.
And you guys just lift me up every time. And so I can't convey my gratitude enough to you. I just don't have the words, but I can show you by showing up again tomorrow and doing it all over again. So thank you so much. I hope you'll come back again tomorrow. That is the hint here. And it's just been great hanging out with you guys. And if I didn't get to your questions, please come back and ask them again, and I'll do my best to get to them next time. Good night, Angela.
Good night.
Bye-bye, guys.
Cosmic Urgency said, Henry Cavill's so fine.
Yeah, that guy's delicious.